The amateur game has always been a big part in our lives. It's always the topic of our conversations and it's constantly on our minds on a daily basis.
Although it's not at a professional level, the amateur game is a working class sport at a working class level. Players put their bodies on the line, lives on hold, and have worked their socks off to be the best they can be from the top to the bottom of the amateur game.
We live and breathe football, and the amateur game has given us our best years in football. Both of us have come to the end of our playing days and want to sit and speak to the legends of the game, the legends in their world, to sit and listen about the careers and stories of the game we love.
Welcome to our podcast.
3 points, please.
Okay, today we have Bluebell legend, Leinster senior veteran, current Inchicore manager, and a top quality amateur footballer, Tony Griffiths. Welcome, pal.
Good to be here, lads.
Tony. So you stepped into the management this year. How are we looking?
Yeah, well, I mean, stepped into the management this year. Well, I wouldn't say stepped into it. I'm managing Bluebell, obviously, Saturday side. That was the first job that I took in football, and it was then just a progression. Then went down to Crumlin, obviously took the Crumlin Saturday side, and then obviously took a year out, played with Inchicore, and then got offered the job, sort of not really thinking about it. I was on holidays and sort of Budgie was in charge, and he was, we were just thinking about, he was asking me to stay on for another year, and I was away. I didn't even know whether I was going to stay for another year, and all of a sudden he rings me and says, look, he's stepping down, and next minute the phone is ringing and you're on holidays, will you take it? And I'm looking around and she's looking and you're thinking, what am I going to do here? And it was just madness for a while, and eventually then I spoke to Largo and the two of us were like, will we, won't we? And I said, look, I'll make a decision when I get home, after holidays, and see what to do. And we ended up taking it,
Yeah. So you went into management and then you come back playing, and then back at the management. So what was the decision to kind of go back playing? Like, was it you were missing it too much, or was it just enough? Like one of the lads asked you to give a dig out, or?
Well, when I was at Bluebell, I think, it was. We were obviously, very successful, like winning leagues and things like that, and I think, the Saturday team wasn't great at the time, and I was obviously getting on a bit, and that job came up, and I remember Andy saying to me, would you be interested in taking it? And I thought, but he still wanted me to play for the Sunday side, and I thought, well, if I'm going to take the Saturday
do that,
job,
didn't you?
yeah, well,
right.
it wasn't really the plan to do that, but it was more a case of the way it panned out in a way, because probably after about 6 or 7 weeks of the season starting, I was like, I can't really do both here.
Hard to double up, isn't it?
It's very hard, and I mean, especially when you want to try to be successful, and the Saturday side hadn't probably won anything in. Probably, I think league-wise, Crumlin were so dominant in that Saturday league. I think they'd won like nine.
It was a bit disheartening then, was it? Kind of.
Yeah, well, as I said, I'm the type of person of I'm in, I'm all in, and sort of, as I said, 6 weeks into the season starting, playing for the Sunday side, managing the Saturday side, it's a lot to ask. And I think, I was saying to myself, if I'm going to have any chance of trying to win this league, I'm going to need to pick what I want to do here, which wasn't an easy decision. But what I said to Andy was, I said, look, if we're struggling or you need me to play in any games, I will play, but I want to focus on managing the Saturday side and trying to be successful with the Saturday side.
It's hard kind of managing with the players' mentality though, when you're doing both, because it doesn't work that way. You have to be kind of one or the other, and I think you made the right decision there if you give one the whole shebang instead of mixing two of them up. Like,
yeah, well, I mean, as I said, that's how I sort of got to know Budgie. I knew Budgie from Crumlin, but I knew he'd obviously managed Crumlin Saturday side for so long and being so successful there. And my plan was, obviously, after being playing for the Saturday side or the Sunday side, was that, do you know what, I'm going to play as well, be a player manager here. I can do both, because I think I can, affect it, that way as well, and help us and try to get a few players on board. So it brought him in with me, which was obviously a big help, that if we was playing, he was able to man the line.
You have somebody there then that knows the way, and
which I think is very important that you do, because you find yourself on a pitch you can't do both. You know what I mean? Like, even though you think you might be able to, I think after a couple of weeks the penny drops and you're like, hang on a minute here. You know what I mean? This is not like I'm having a nightmare out here and I'm trying to tell players what to do. You know what I mean? They're looking at me like with 10 heads. You just had to give them the ball away 5 times, missing a sitter, and you're telling me to get back here, and you're not doing the same thing.
Pointing at you, one of the players on the pitch beside you, take him off.
Yeah.
No one's like, what are you taking me off for?
Exactly. So I found that out. That was probably the first lesson I learned when I went into management. And as I said, Budgie came on board, and it was obviously a big help. He was able to run the line, and obviously we were able to, manage it between the both of us. And thankfully it worked out. We were very successful, and we actually went on and won the league. And so, Crumlin.
So you put all your effort into it, and you got the rewards out of it.
Yeah, we did, and it mightn't have been a big thing for other people, like, because it was Saturday football. It was a huge thing for me because of the sacrifices you're at to make, and stopping playing obviously Sunday and going and making that decision, like you said, to play Saturday and manage Saturday, and obviously Crumlin being the force that they've always been, and winning the league sort of 9 times out of 10 to go and beat them, which they were. I'd probably arguably say that was probably their best Saturday side that they had. They had like some serious players like playing, coming through. You know, like lads that the likes of Glenn was there, Figo was there, Leon. There was they did a
really good core players.
Really good crop of players, and I was able to put sort of players, sort of like myself, that were coming to the end, and experience, group with a couple of young lads as well. And we were able to win it. So I remember winning it. We won it out in Monaghan on the last day of the season. We had to go and beat them, and we did. But it was, as I said, it was good. It was great satisfaction to actually get that over the line.
Did you play yourself the last game?
I did.
Did you score?
I did.
What score did that finish?
I think we beat them 3-1. We went 1-0 down after 5 minutes. I remember saying to Andy McNulty was actually in goal, and they had to actually win to stay up. Malahide did. So what actually happened was, our league was over, Malahide's league was over in the top senior division. So we knew what was happening here was both teams were going to pack this out. So we packed it out as much as we could. They packed it out as much as they could. Obviously, you've got to stay loyal to your players as well. You can't just put full players into the on the pitch. And I remember before the game having a chat with the lads, like doing a team talk, and I remember saying that we were after giving away some stupid goals early on in games, and I remember saying to Andy McNulty, listen, first 5 minutes, just keep everything safe, don't be messing around, squeeze the pitch, and we'll settle into the game. 5 minutes into the game, Andy McNulty comes running out of his goal, gets caught with 1-0 down. I'm pulling my bleeding hair out. I'm saying, here we go.
And he'd be one of your most experienced there.
Yeah. So but thankfully it all worked out, and we ended up winning the game 3-1. But the relief of just winning, I know, look, as I said to you, some people, like, that Saturday, football is not as, people wouldn't look into it as much as Sunday, which is obviously standards are a lot different. But the relief winning it that day was just like a weight off your shoulders, because you're up there all the way. You're
smiling for weeks, I say, will you?
It's you know what, it's that thing of just like the monkey off your back that you're just like, you know what, I'm just glad we got that done.
Yeah, over the line.
You're more worried about the failure than you are about the success, because you're after being there for so long in the league, up there. And you think to yourself, no matter who you are, it does creep in thinking, what if we throw this away? You know what I mean? We're after being 6-7 points clear for the last X amount of weeks in the league, and as I said, it was just good to get it over the line. Yeah,
brilliant. Yeah,
you end up taking Crumlin Saturday team then down the line, didn't you? And got over the line then again and won the league. So have you got two? Two
Saturday leagues, yeah. Two Saturdays, yeah.
Well, player manager.
Yeah, ended up doing that as well. Myself and Larko. Me and Larko took that down there, and thankfully that worked out as well. But I had a bit of experience going into that, whereas Stephen probably didn't, and it sort of helped. Obviously, you played a couple of games for us yourself. But again, that was it was something that sort of came about. It was last minute really when we took over. You were there,
right, yeah.
And it was we had to delay the season, I think even 2 weeks. But we went in, and I think the club had a great year that year.
Yeah.
Obviously the senior side won the league. The Saturday side won the league, and it was great to win it again. But after that, then I think we needed a little bit of a break, so I took a year out then after that, and that's when I went back playing with Inchicore. Budgie rang me, asked me to come down and play, and went down and played the season there, and just missed out on promotion actually last year in that league. I think it was right down to the wire actually, and we missed out anyway. And as I said, went off, and then that's when all the madness happened in the summer, when we were getting calls. Obviously Budgie had stepped down, and the offer came in then for the Inchicore job, and waited till we come back and had a chat with Larko, and Paul Doyle obviously has stayed on board. He's great experience in the league. He's been around a long time, so we kept him on board doing the coaching, and it started well so far. So good. We've gone to battle with yourself already, Alan, but in a tight game. So you know yourself. Look, it's tough league, and I mean it's one of them things as well. Like, you're looking around, and from managing it at a Saturday level, you find out very quickly that there's no easy games. You know, people think that you can just stroll up and win games, but it's just not like that. But as I said, we're ticking along okay. So hopefully we can do all right for the year.
Hopefully not.
Yeah.
On my end.
So take us back then to where it all began.
Where it all began, started playing football when I was 6 years of age. I remember going up, my brother bringing me up. Funny story actually. I remember my dad saying to him, "You bring him up there, don't come back till he's on a team." That's what it was like back then, you know. And
just bring him anywhere.
Yeah, and where'll I bring me? He says, "Bring him up to the park." He says, "There's trials up there, I heard." He says, "Make sure he doesn't come back." He says, "Till he's on a team." So the brother says, "Right, I'll bring him up." And I remember going up and walked up with the brother, and walks in, and all the trials had started. Just, you know, one of them memories you have in your head since you're a kid. Remember it all started, and I loved football. Never had a football out of my hands since I was a kid. And I remember going up, and it started, and my brother walked over to Jim Waldron, who was the manager of Lewis, that team who was doing all the scouts, and he walked over to him because we lived in Rutland Grove, and so did Jem. I don't think Jem was a big fan of my brother at the time, and he says, the brother walks over and he says, "Jem," he says, "any chance of getting Tony in there?" And he goes, no, the trials have started already. And I remember my brother Philip saying, he said, "Listen," he says, "give him a chance." He says, "Just get him in, you know." And he says, "Right, go on, throw him in there." So I went in anyway, and must have done well, because he comes running off to the brother after, and he says, "Look, can you sign that? Get him on the form." Yeah. So it changed very quickly. So it all started from there, and I was with Lewis Celtic and loved it. It was just up the road from where I was living, and just progressed. And I think I was 10, maybe 10 or 11. I was flying. I was playing 2 years over my age, playing with some serious players, and loving it. As your kid, you know, you're not even realising, and you know what levels you're playing at. You're just loving the game. It's different, I think, now. Obviously, I think parents and everything, you know, back then with my man and dad and like that, it was just, you were just going for the game of football. Yeah, you were going for the day, and there was nothing else really. There's no airs or graces about it. But
that's what we loved, didn't we? Even at that age.
With the League of Ireland coming in now at 13s, is it? League of Ireland, that's what people want to be. They want to be part of that. Like, so
this is it, and that's, I think, the saying you hear now, like, street football is gone. Really, because
100% agree.
You know, it's gone to a stage where, as you said, that League of Ireland, the professional level. Now, look, of course, it helps people, but I wouldn't change my upbringing from playing football. But
isn't it a shame that's all gone now? Isn't it, little things like that? Because they were our childhood memories was all that. You're playing them on. You're actually playing on the road.
Just jumpers for goalposts.
Jumpers for goalposts. Sorry, if you could get them up to a field with goalposts, you'd get them.
Many a clatter I got knocking home with my jacket. Where's your jacket? You only got that for Christmas.
Yeah. But that was it. And as I said, from 10, and then at 10, I remember everything was going grand, loving the game, and flying, thinking nothing but football all the time, and end up just picking up. I got a bad hip injury. I was only a kid. I was out of football for 3 years.
Wow, yeah.
So I got Pertus disease in my hip, and because remember my ma dropped me to school one morning. She said, "Me, yeah, okay, I limping there." I was grand. So I wasn't in pain or anything, and anyway, ended up being Pertus disease, and it sounds worse than it is, but it was had to get 2 operations, and I was out of football for 3 years, and they probably said you won't play again at the time. Yeah, so I was, as you can understand, a kid, broken hearted, thinking to myself, I'm never gonna play football again here.
At that age,
at that age. So I had to, in a wheelchair for a bleeding year.
Were you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
had to learn how to walk again, physio, all that type of stuff. I missed, as you can know, like
That's where the pace went.
yeah.
That's when it left you.
That's exactly what happened. That's what I say to everyone. That's exactly what happened. So missed 3 years, and I remember obviously just gradually, you know, physio, getting myself back and going swimming, and you know, had these stuff in Our Ladies Hospital, having to go up all the time, and end up sort of building myself up slowly. And I remember going back up to Jim Waldron's team, which was, I think, out of the team probably that I was playing with was 2 years over my age group. But the team, I'd say probably 10 of them maybe went away to the UK. And I remember going back up thinking, I'm just going to walk back in here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just normal
Thinking that
service
way,
resumed
yeah,
here.
yeah.
I'm back walking. I'm back, you know, I'm back on my 2 feet
On the
here.
wheelchair gym here, yeah.
chipping in.
It's all good, boys.
Yeah,
Tommy's back.
yeah, here I come. And I remember going up, and Jim says, like, yeah, come in there. I could barely, like, I could walk and I could sort of jog, but I couldn't.
Sharpness was gone.
Yeah, I couldn't function like the way I was. But as a kid, you're not thinking that. You think that you can. And I remember going home again, as I said, a long time ago. But stuff you don't forget. I think to myself, what am I gonna do here? And remember the B team. My brother was playing for Pa Holmes, a fella called Pa Holmes, who was managing the B team. And I remember my ma saying, "Pa, can he go out and play with you or whatever?" I couldn't move, I couldn't play or whatever. As I said, I was just trying to build my legs back up. But at the time, I didn't understand that. I thought I could just go out and play the way I used to be able to play. So I went up with him, and he used to sit on the bench playing for them all the time. And he threw me on for 10 minutes. 10 minutes for a year. 10 minutes, then it was 15 minutes, then it'd be 20
Building
minutes.
it up.
Gradually just sort of building myself back up. And these were a year older as well, but it was just getting back out there 10, 15 minutes at a time, building myself back up. And then by the time I hit 15, I went back playing Premier football because I'd got me Whitlewards at my own age. So had played the 15s then with them and had a good year, but personally probably had a good year, but we got relegated and we went from Premier down to Major. So my mate Joey O'Brien was playing for Stella Maris at the time, and he was out there with Gar, can't think of Gar's second name, the manager at the time, but they're a really good team, Brian King and that playing for them, and we would have played against them in the league. And I remember Sean Lestrange, who was playing, he says, I'm going to go out to Stella, and his dad was driving, and I says, do you know what, I said, I'll go with you. So we went out, trained away, ended up signing for Stella, and we ended up going out there.
Age group you at the now going?
I think it's 15s. I think it was 15s because I think Joe and that and a couple of others, Davey Ellerbear and that, they were at the going to the UK, and there was a couple of players of it. And
Daz was down there at that one stage, was he?
Yeah. Barber was a year ahead. He would have been playing with the team a year ahead. But Larko was there.
Strong outfit, Stella, weren't they? Back
Yeah,
back
very good to hear, yeah.
Tom,
really
I can't think of
strong.
Tom's second name, but he was well got in the leagues. And do you know Tom?
Yeah, I can't forget his second name. I remember his
Tom
second name.
Kavanagh.
Tom Kavanagh, that's what it
Tom
was, yeah.
Kavanagh. He'd be on the line, Tom would be with all the scouts. You know, when you're a kid, you'd be scanning the line. Who's here? Who's there?
Yeah.
That's what every kid dreamed of. But so I went there, and Larko was there and everything else. That was my first time meeting.
First time meeting.
Yeah, that was my first time meeting Larko, and he was playing for the side, and we had a really good side. But Cherry Orchard were sort of they'd Stephen Quinn, Gary Dickers, they'd some really good team, and they were sort of wiping the floor.
Paul
You know what I
as
mean?
well, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Paul Bourne, Connor Salmon, and that went to them.
Connor Salmon, yeah. So they had a really good side, and we just never could really seem to get the better of them. So I'd a year there, and then Crumlin, Lewards got back promoted. So I went back to Lewards then at 16s, under 16s, and signed back for Lewards, and I was playing for Lewards, played the season there, had a good season. And I remember getting a call off Pat Scully after the season. So I was just going 17, obviously finished the season, and he says, want to take you up to Kilkenny City.
Oh, that's right. He took Kilkenny City.
Kilkenny City, and I was, as I said, I was still only a kid, and I was like, yeah, lovely. You know what I mean? I was buzzing. Think myself,
that would have
lovely.
been one of his first gigs, wouldn't it?
That was his first job, in the League of Ireland. And he took myself, Barry Slattery, and Mark O'Reilly. 3 of us were playing for Lewards. Took the 3 of us up, and basically just signed all players from the Leinster senior league.
Aido Price and all went there, yeah.
Price, Tyg Purcell. Joey Courtney, sort of, he just littered it with all LSL players. And I remember
Good
going
move
up,
that was, yeah.
yeah, it was a very good move. He's probably one of the first to actually do that
Yeah.
at the time. He sort of tapped into it, and yeah, so I remember going up to pre-season and I was thinking to myself, like, you know what I mean, thinking like League of Ireland. But at the time I was sort of under this illusion thinking that League of Ireland was easy. I was thinking to myself, yeah, you know, it's not England, it's cruise in here, you'll be able to play, no problem. So I remember going up doing the pre-season, playing a couple of games in the pre-season. I was thinking to myself, Jesus, it's a lot harder than I thought. I was still only a kid. And anyway, done the pre-season, and first game of the season comes, and myself, Barry and Mark are in the stands, going down with Paul Fago, great man Fagan. He was the coach, the goalkeeping coach down there, but he was from Terranure, so he used to pick us up and bring us. Great lad. So we used to be travelling down with Fago, you know, and anyway, we went down the first day, and three of us are in the stands, and I think to myself, stands here, like, just want to play football, you know what I mean? Well, like, I'm better than him, he's playing ahead of me, you know the usual when you're young, you think, like, how's he playing ahead of me? He's brutal, you know what I mean?
Best player there,
yeah, exactly. It's the famous shout, isn't it, from the stands? But so we ended up, that was about 3 or 4 weeks on the spin, back and forth, away. We were at every game, but in the stands. So I think to myself, where's this going? Like, you know what I mean? Like, training hard.
You're training a few times a week then? Or
we're training 3 times a week.
Yeah, and then games.
Pat Scully's training was, even to today, the most intense training I ever had. Like, it was like letting off a pack of wild dogs in training. Like, you'd be doing 5v5s, and someone go by it and he'd be roaring, fucking kick him, take him down. Like, it was like,
ball, was
like,
it?
I mean, it was like proper old school, like, and there was no, you know, like, no holding back.
Yeah.
You had a game even on a Friday night, you were training on a Thursday. He's
Get
telling
in.
people, like, someone goes by you, fucking take him down, don't even let you know what I mean? And we used to do these 1v1s and 2v2s, which would be even worse because he'd be watching the man. I mean, he'd be on it, like, he'd be on you, like, you know, you'd do 1v1 and something would happen, but he'd be on you, like, you'd be going in a 1v1 and it'd be, you're going to war. You know what I mean? You're thinking to yourself, can't get done here, I have to win this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're going to get done.
Was he like that as a manager then as well? Yeah,
that's what he was like as a manager.
A manager just
Now, he
completely
played
like that.
as well that year, Pat did,
Right.
until we got a settled team, and he jumped in and out. But the training was, as I said to you, it was like proper intense, and it helped me massively to sort of, like, you know, become a man really quickly, because physically, yeah, and mentally, because you're getting roared at, and it's basically survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
And I know it was like, it's only Kilkenny City, but at the same time, it's League of Ireland. You think to yourself, you know, it's sink or swim here. You know, you're either gonna be able to put it up to these, and as I said, in 1v1s, 2v2s, and in
Or else shy away and you're
or
gone.
else you're gone. You're out the door. So I was doing really well in that in training, and I remember, I think we lost their first 5 or 6 games, and as I said to you, I think first 4 weeks, myself, Mark, and Barry are in the stands, obviously only kids. I remember then, probably maybe the 5th week, gets caught. I'm in the squad. I'm on the bench, buzzing, like, lovely. The breaks straight away, you know what I mean? Thinking I'm great, like. And I'm on the bench, and I think I come on for like 15 minutes in a game. We got B, grand, I think lovely. I'm getting a bit of game time. Then next week comes, didn't get on. Talking to Fago, born the ears up on the way back. Like, what am I doing wrong, Fago? And Fago would say, the pain is bollocks, listening to me, you know what I mean? Mark then on the other ear, like, I can't even get on the bench. Barry in the other ear, fucking, what's Fago, like, what do you have to do? Like,
He won 6 years, yeah.
3 of us just, Fago, pull into Aberdeen, I'm bleeding starving on the way back. So, that's the way it was, like, just some great memories. But anyway, so we've gone on then, and I never forget, we're playing Galway down at Terryland Park. And I'm none the wiser next of all. Remember Pat calling me, he says, Griff, he says, you're playing. He says, you're playing in the middle of the park tonight. Played buzzing. So as I said, I think we lost 6 or 7 on the spin. Terrible start, or maybe even a draw in there. Anyway, starts the game. We win 1-0. I was playing, come off the game, and I was like, no feeling like it, you know, you're thinking,
it's the best, isn't it? It's the best.
Your debut down there, Galway as well, which is a big team in the league. You have to beat them 1-0, like, it's, you know what I mean? You're coming in the dressing room, it's the buzz. There's no feeling like it, you know.
Nothing beats it, sure. It doesn't.
It doesn't. So then went on and probably played, I think, in the season, maybe probably about 15 games, like, which was a great season for me to play 15 games as a kid. At the time, I didn't
that
think
age,
that.
yeah.
At the time, I wouldn't have thought that, because I'm thinking,
You want to play
I wanna
30
play
games
every week. And like, I'm getting dropped some weeks. But I remember one time going up to a game thinking I was playing. We're probably 12 games in now, and as I said, I'm at the making the breakthrough, and wasn't getting cocky or anything like that. I was just training hard and wanting to play. I knew that I had to work hard to play, otherwise I wouldn't. And I'll never forget it. And I'm in the changing room. All the lads are there, and what we had was we had these tracksuits, black tracksuits, and like basically a white pennies top underneath the tracksuit. That's what you had to wear. So I remember being in the fucking getting ready for the game, looking around for the white top in the gaff, can't find it. Bring me, where's the top, man? She's I don't know, it should be there or whatever, can't find it. So he says, yeah, whatever, just try one of bleeding normal white, any white top, you know what I mean? You get away with a white t-shirt, plain white t-shirt. So goes up to the game, and I was expecting to start. Next of all, team is called out. Not on the starting 11. Next of all, bench is called out. Not on the bench.
I'd have been fucking in the squad as well.
I say, what the fuck is going on here? So what's going on? So stand there, fuming, steam coming out of my ears. So the skill where that any young fella can make is, as we all know, don't speak to a manager before the game. And if you want to speak to him, if you lose, don't speak to him after. Speak to him then on Monday or Sunday. Leave him for as long as possible. I'm a kid, naive, obviously think to myself,
I'm going to have it out with this cunt.
Kill him. You know what I mean? I'm like, what's going on here? Thought I'm doing well. So anyway, all the lads go out, and Pat used to stay in, and he used to do the board and everything else. So I thought it was a great idea. I said, I'll walk in there.
He's getting it.
And I'd speak to him. So I was like, Pat, can I get a word with you? Yeah, give me a minute. He says, speak to you in a minute. So grand. Next minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes past, lads are out doing their warm up, waiting for him. Nothing. Lads all come back in. Waits for them all to come back in, and calls me out. I says, what's going on, Pat? I said, why am I in the bleeding squad? I tell you why you're not in the fucking squad. He says, that fucking t-shirt. He says, zip your fucking thing down. He says to me, I swear. He says, zip that top down now. I zipped the top down. He says, what do you mean? Look, a bleeding skill kid. He says, you're hiding that all fucking day. He says, that's not the fucking top you should be wearing. Oh, lads, I swear to God. That's what it was like.
That's how intense he was.
That's how intense he was.
Yeah. Was it an excuse to kind of drop you, or was it because of that reason?
I'd like to think it was the t-shirt.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking that way anyway, but yeah.
We won't.
But no, but it sounded like that you were getting in and you're starting to do well. Like so.
And just when you think your coat was just swept off your feet.
But what you're at to describing him with, it sounds like it was because of the t-shirt.
Yes, 100%.
How long were you out for? So you got the t-shirt back?
I think it was about 2 weeks, as I said. And then I ended up playing 15 probably games in the season, which, as I said, was a good season for me. I was very happy. But as you said, when you're young, you think you want to play all the time. And we ended up having an unbelievable season. We ended up missing out on the playoffs. We ended up winning, I think, 13 or 14 games in a row. Went down to Sligo. Cookie was in charge of Sligo at the time. When he ended up winning Cookie, we went down to Sligo, beat them down there. And Cookie was in charge. He ended up winning the league and ended up going on and doing really well. Obviously, with Sligo, they ended up winning I think he ended up winning the league, didn't he? The FAI Cup.
Did they? Yeah, I think they won the FAI anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. So then Pat obviously got the Shamrock Rovers job.
Yeah, took half the team with him. Yeah,
took half the team with him, and I'm thinking to myself, Rovers waiting on the call, waiting on the phone call. You know, no nothing, no phone ringing. I'm saying, here, no one ringing me here. So I remember waiting and nothing. So I said, this is a ring Pat myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
says, if you don't ask,
you're sure.
I
You're
remember
sure.
ringing him, and he says, "Oh, you're great." I says, "Yeah." I says, "What's the story, Pat?" And he says, "Listen," he says, "you can come up and train if you want or whatever." He says, "Obviously, he's got a huge budget there, and he's bringing in players like and all the like top players that came. I remember Sheppy was there. As I said, Porsche were there. Goal machines. The lads were like great players. Like should have probably kicked on and played. Bit, yeah. Even like at a higher level, but for whatever reason they didn't. But so I was trying to get up anyway. It didn't end up. He said you can come up and train. I remember hanging up the phone thinking, doesn't really want me.
He doesn't fancy.
It's not. It's easy. It's no point me going up there. So I remember a new manager took over at Kilkenny. So I'm still obviously at the finishing the season at Kilkenny. Gets a phone call about staying. I says, yeah, it was actually a lad from Terranure and Ado Fitzpatrick. Yeah.
You played with Kilkenny, didn't you, Nelson?
Yeah,
Nelson played with Kilkenny.
You were there with me,
Yeah, that sounds nice one, Tony. Yeah.
He's been trying to get this in for the last half
Especially
an
waiting,
hour.
bro.
That'll tell you,
Yeah,
what was that like? So you know.
That's what I was saying. Training in Bushy Park,
Daz went
yeah.
down to Kilkenny, did you?
Yeah.
Daz, yeah.
From we were playing the 21s for UCD, and obviously won the league 2 years in a row. And he went kind of picking around lads that kind of basically the fourth team, and obviously got a lot. The guy came in on loan from Shells and also kind of got all kind of youngsters, like that to play. But I think we were just lads weren't ready to play fucking senior football like at that stage. Like,
Yeah, and Brian King.
but King came in as well.
down.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to him?
Brian,
Good schoolboy footballer,
very good
wasn't
player.
he?
He played in the league, went to Drogheda and things like that. I actually don't know because I know Noel well.
I
and
met him
I've
there a
always-
couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago. There, yes.
Did
Don't think
he
he's
kick
playing ball.
on
No, I
like
don't think he's playing ball at all.
amateur wise or anything? No.
Not too sure about his career now. In
Because you want to
fairness.
remember, you would have been my age as well than Tony.
Yeah.
He would have been. He was with Stella, wasn't he?
Stella, yeah.
He would have been one of the better players
no,
in the league. Like that, probably didn't
He
go.
would've- he's a great footballer, Brian, and he can play at us. But do you remember playing? I remember going up and then we all done the pre-season. We're in Bushy Park doing the pre-season, and the gaffer showing up on the push bike job here. You don't forget that.
The socks tucked in.
The socks tucked in. We're all
the
looking
trousers,
what's
the
going
socks,
on
yeah.
here. And bear in mind, I'm after doing a year there. So I'm thinking to myself, and he's obviously, as Nelson said, he's brought in his couple of players and whatever, and we're all doing the pre-season. Then we end up in Sundrive Park, down the hills in Sundrive Park, and I think everyone's looking around thinking,
You're told if anyone comes over and tells you to get off, we're an inner city fucking football club, alright? They're just like trying to find the pitch.
that's how it went.
The one that the groundsman was like that. What are you doing? We're just kind of inner city lads that are playing football. It's alright to stay here, is it?
Yeah. So we did the pre-season. Remember doing the pre-season, and I remember probably not starting as many games as I want. And he brought a lad in, Bucko. Do you remember Bucko?
Bucko, yeah.
Bucko was a rugby player.
Conor
This fella.
Buckley, yeah.
Lovely fella, rugby player. He wasn't a footballer, and no disrespect to Bucko, I think he'll agree with me. So he's came in from the rugby scene, but he was lightning quick. So I could
Beast, wasn't he?
Fitzpatrick's obviously thinking behind it was this man going to run in
quick,
behind
he'll
and he's
run
going to
all
cause
day,
problems.
yeah.
So I think we were about 3 or 4 games in, and we hadn't started well. We were losing games, and I remember being on the bench, and I remember the Fitzpatrick calling me. He says, "Tony," I was like, "Oh, here we go, lovely. I'm on the bench, getting in here, you know." He said, "You wouldn't do me a favour, would you?" And I says, "Yeah, what's that, Ado?" He says, "You wouldn't go out there," he says, "and help Bucko and work on his touch." I says, "You what?" He says, "You wouldn't help Bucko." He says, "Work on his touch." I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "Used to," like he says, like, you know, show him how to hold it up, and he says, like, you know, with his back to goal. And I looked at him, "You're winding me bleeding up." I said, "This is the end of the road for me."
Yeah,
I says,
that's
"I've
it.
had enough."
I remember getting a raw deal down there, yeah. Definitely got a raw deal, yeah.
So I says, "That's enough for me." So I says, "I'm out of here." So I left, and I remember then just all my mates were playing for Dunor, which would have been
Local club, kind of.
Tom O'Brien, Joey O'Brien. Their family sort of ran the team, and Tom said to me, "Why don't you come up and play for us and just get back and join it or whatever?" So I said, "Yeah." I said, "I will get down actually," and I went down and played. I think I played about a season, whatever was left in the season. Played the season. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. It was Saturday football, but it was probably 3 leagues below the top Saturday, but it was like
Just enjoyable.
with your mates,
you
and
got that back.
that bite, and you'd be going out. Don't get me wrong, you'd be going out and playing games to be playing carnage in games, like, you know what I mean. You'd be getting kicked off the park, but back then that's the way it was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, and everybody loved it.
And you took it.
You took it.
Yeah,
And
That,
they
that was your first taste of kind of senior football, where we would have went. Well, a couple of lads went from schoolboys into senior football, and then probably kicked on to League of Ireland. So you went League of Ireland with the professionalism
Yes,
of it,
I went straight in.
and then you came back to that madness.
Yes.
of probably
Exactly.
getting changed beside the thing and
I did the
slagging
opposite.
it. Yeah,
I did the opposite way.
but you probably said this is fucking brilliant because there's some cracking just
Yeah.
getting
And I
changed
think-
so the pitch and all.
I think it can go either way. Like, say we're talking about players there that we're asking where do they end up going. With players that come out of the League of Ireland and don't really make it, say, and then they say, "Oh, right, I'll go here to like what you've done down to the north," and don't have an experience what you're at the having, and then go, here, I'm finished
It's
with
so
football.
easy, yeah, because you get turned off.
Yeah, and then they're gone.
You need a couple of not head cases there, but you need good lads around you there.
100%. And when you've got your mates, like you
Yeah.
just said there, and you know, everyone's rowing in, and my younger brother was playing as well, and like we had a good little side. But I remember we drew Colester in the FAI Junior when Mick Keogh and Lacey and all were playing for them, and I said,
When they were at their pelt.
and I would have known they were obviously good players, whereas the lads wouldn't have.
Yeah.
And I said, look, we're going to have a long day here, lads. We played them in, I don't know why, but we ended up playing them in Tolka's pitch for some reason. The game was there. And he beat us 7-1. And I remember coming out, I said to the lads, it's bleeding levels, you know. I said, that's what you know, that's the difference. Obviously, they were AUL at the time, Killester. And anyway, I played the season, finished the season there, it was great. And Larko had signed for Crumlin. And I got a couple of calls.
How did Larko end up out there? Where would he have been with? I always kind of wanted to know that.
And all before
he started off with Crumlin.
Did he start there? Yeah.
He knew Darboy Robinson, who was over there. I think he was friends with Darboy because they worked together. And I think Darboy got him over. And I was training with Dunor up on Crumlin's Astro before Crumlin would train. And so I would have known him. And I wouldn't have really known Martin or anything like that at the time. And I remember playing when I was playing with Dunor, I was banging in goals, and it was like we were flying, and I was loving it, like, do you know what I mean? And obviously, like now, even today, when lads play at a lower level and they start scoring goals, people talk, you know. So it was getting out there, you doing well, and I'd obviously played with Kilkenny as well, so I hadn't got it like.
So you look, you
a
were
bit
a
of a
good player,
background.
you were a good player.
Agree behind you, yeah.
So I remember Larko saying, Martin wants you to come down, why don't you come down? I was like, I don't know what to do or whatever. He's like, just come down. So
Crumlin aren't the dominant force then.
No,
like
not even, nothing like it back then. And I says, all right. I says, yeah. I said, I'll come down. So I remember going down training, and actually a story that I missed out on real quickly. I remember going down training, but when I was playing with Kilkenny, I don't know whether Nelson, you played in the game. We played against Crumlin in a pre-season game. And Gar Sutton was the goalkeeper of Crumlin, and Mark Bourne was playing in the middle of the park for Crumlin before he had gone to England to think about the Forest. And I ended up, me and him ended up in a tussle or whatever, probably a bad tackle or whatever it was, but we ended up sort of pass squaring up to each other. And Gar Sutton came running from the goal, because Gar was a madman. Came running for the goal, and I remember he grabbed me by the neck. Literally grabbed me by the neck. Gar's a big boy. He grabbed me by the neck. Because as he grabbed me by the neck, I was sort of just half swinging, you know what I mean? Sort of half curve. Yeah. He's like, I'll kill you. The usual handbags, you know, as football was. But
this is right before you went to
Crumlin. Right before. Yeah. Obviously, then I've obviously gone to Crumlin. I remember walking in and Gar Sutton sitting there, and he's saying, you little bollocks. And I was like, yeah. So obviously signed for Crumlin then, and signed for Crumlin, and just basically took off like we just.
What squad did you go into then? Who was there at that time?
I went into a squad of Paul McCabe, unbelievable centre half. Gar Sutton was obviously goalkeeper. Danny Loughran, brilliant player. There was good players there. Derek Griffin, Chatsy. Who else was there? Trying to think.
Did Jamesy come in then, or was he already there? Or
I'm not sure whether. I don't think Jamesy was there. I think Jamesy came after me, or maybe came with me. Maybe he came at the same year as me. Yeah, he probably did. James was there. But my first game, when I signed for Crumlin United, it was sort of mid-season.
Oh, right.
For some reason, I don't know what it was, or whatever way it worked out. My first game, James will actually, he always laughs at the story, himself and all the lads do Kramer and all that. But I remember going down, and I was at the being playing for Dunor, like I said, and I was thinking I'm fit. You know what I mean? I'm playing Saturday football.
Yeah, playing week in, week out.
And whatever it was, I can't remember, but I must have been sitting idle for a few. I must have been sitting. That's the excuse anyway.
The wheelchair got brought back out.
Yeah, I think I took the wheelchair back out, 2 flat tires. But we ends up going up, and they're playing Mount Marion, and I'm on the bench. Martin puts me straight onto the bench after signing, so I probably signed on the Monday, and I'm on the bench on the Wednesday, and beat Mount Marion 1-0 I think in the game, and 15 minutes ago, Tony, let's go, put you on. So goes on the pitch, the ball comes over the top, goes to chase it. I think I ran about 5 yards and I fell over myself, right? And I'm thinking myself, the mind's walking here, but the legs aren't, you know. The mind's telling me yeah, but the body's telling me no. I'm thinking, what's going on here? So next minute bleeding, another ball comes to me like Bambi on ice. Literally like Bambi on ice. Played the 15 minutes, and I swear to God, like, couldn't have played the worst 15 minutes ever in a day, maybe even 20. Shocking, like absolutely shocking. And I remember coming off thinking to myself, my Lord, what's that happening there to myself, right? And I'm looking at, right, none of the lads know me, and they're all looking saying, this fella's fucking brutal. He is brutal. And I can see.
And you're thinking yourself, they think I'm brutal.
Yeah, that's what I am. I'm thinking, well, they're right, because I was brutal. So I'm thinking to myself, what's going on here? So I remember then on the Sunday we played Tolka, over in Tolka, and I think Deco Carlo was playing up front. He was the striker, and anyway, I'm on the bench. I think to myself, we've no chance of even getting on here that bad last week. I'd say 5 minutes into the game, Deco Carlo gets injured, and Martin says to everybody, warm up. So the usual, we're all warming up, and with that, Deco has to come off. So I'm saying to the boys, it's definitely not, I'm genuinely saying, it's definitely not going to be me, lads. I said after bleeding Wednesday, I said, so I'm not ready, obviously, to play bleeding, that amount of time. Next to Martin, Tony. I said, oh, here we go. Goes on, but it's mad what 20 minutes in that game to get to the. I end up going on a bleeding, had an absolute blinder, scored fucking, and that was like sort of me announcing myself at Crumlin, like, and sort of proving to the lads around you that you could play, because
they were accepting of you then.
Just the way it worked out.
Do you know what you were saying there when you were saying that you wouldn't have thought anyone knew you at the North, but I'd say Martin knew you. There's no doubt about it that Martin knew what you were kind of capable of, because knowing him what he's like, and then he gave you a chance first game and then trusted you second. Yeah,
what you're saying there is, it makes a lot of sense, because I genuinely thought there's no chance of me coming on here. Like, I said, after the way I'd played in the game against Mount Marion coming off the bench, and I'd say even the players when I came on the pitch were thinking, what's he doing here? Because we've all been there. You see something like, if we're being honest.
Yeah, look, we've probably gone through it more times than not.
Exactly. Do you know, you think to yourself, oh no. But so I've gone on and I've done really well, scored, come off the pitch, and as you can expect, you're buzzing. You're coming on thinking, lovely. Do you know what I mean? At least I'm at the showing everybody that I can play. Even though you can play yourself, it's still a big thing to get respect.
It's a doubt, isn't it? It's a doubt, and
you want respect from your fellow players to know that you can play. Like, it goes without saying. Do you know what I mean? I think in football that, like, that respect off players that know that you can play, that you're playing with, or even that you're playing against. Of course, it counts for a lot.
But maybe from having the bad run, the force 20 minutes to get a point to prove, like, so. Yeah, that can drive anyone to fucking up the game.
Yeah,
so obviously honest, you had that.
I actually don't know what happened in that 20 minutes. I think I bring it up and laugh about it. I don't know what happened in that 20 minutes. But after that, then just kicked on. And
what position are you playing at this stage?
I'm playing up front. Playing the 10.
10, yeah.
As Alan said.
Did you were always kind of like a centre midfield 10 or centre forward, weren't you? You were always in that bone of it.
Yeah, I think it was always like I class myself as an intelligent footballer, and would put it about as well. Like, do you know what I mean? And I think that was sort of, you could play in any of them positions. But then obviously with Crumlin, with so many good players then coming through, as you said, you had Martin Kramer there, who, I mean, I don't need to sing Martin's praises. I think everybody knows, that talks about Martin. He was like, just was able to run a game. But for me, Martin Kramer, when he was playing with me, it was just brilliant to play with him, because I knew the minute he got the ball, it was telepathic. You were playing, if I'm playing the 10 or I'm playing somewhere, he's not even looking, but he knows.
He knows his players, and he knew his players.
Whipping that ball into you, you're getting it in, you're coming in, you're linking up play. You'd obviously, Larko out wide on the right, say you James then running beyond me. That was what we had. You know what I mean? If I dropped in, he could go beyond.
Space in behind,
and it was just, it just worked so well. Yeah. And we I don't know whether, look, yourself, sometimes at clubs, players end up at clubs sometimes and it just clicks, and that's what sort of happened at Crumlin, and we just sort of kicked on. And I think in the first year, if my memory serves me right, we the first year I think we got to the intermediate cup. We won the intermediate. I'm nearly sure it was my first year I won the intermediate. Maybe it might be me second.
Against Bluebell, was it?
Against Bluebell, up in Tala. And again, it was like, I remember going up playing Bluebell in the final, and we'd proper players, and they had a man's team. Like, they had their, your subsies, and your Niall Donnellys, your Keddies, your Sherlocks, lads, experienced like pros like that knew the game. They were a big, like they remind me of a country team, where we were the opposite. We were a footballing team, but we had that bit of biting as well, a bit of nastiness that we could, if we needed to go to the trenches, we could. And
bit of both.
Yeah, a bit of both, and which was a great mixture. And I remember that day we battered them in the final.
What score was that?
We beat them 3-2, but like it was
was it a comfortable 3-2 or was it?
Well,
or
they
was
scored,
3-2 was a tight score.
I think they scored late on to make it. They scored late. We were 3-1 up, and they scored late on to make it 3-2. But we were. I personally thought we were streets ahead of them. You know what I mean? Footballing wise, and like the players we had were just on a different level. Like, and now don't get me wrong, they had some brilliant players that
I think Crumlin kind of excelled that a little bit better in them days because they were more of the footballing team, didn't they? A little bit.
Well, like I just said to you there, I think when you've got that influx of players that's came through the door, like we're talking about, that came through, like Gav Quinn had come over.
Yeah, Gav,
great player, Gav Quinn as well. Yeah. He came in, he was a great addition. You'd others then. We were always adding, sort of like, there was 2-3 players coming through the door, and we were all young. We were all young, which was a huge thing. And as I said, in the final that day, you were going out into that final thinking, well, I was anyway, thinking we're gonna beat this. That was my, now that should be, I suppose, everybody's mentality when you go out and play a final. But
the confidence was there.
Yeah, and it wasn't an arrogance. It was just like
the belief.
Yeah, belief that I thought, look, with the players we have, I don't see these beating us.
Did you play up top that day?
Played up top that day, yeah. I remember we scored, got man of the match in the final.
Did you? Yeah.
Yeah, and we all went back to the hub after it, and it was
deadly.
At that time, you just think it's normal.
Yeah. Look at local celebrity walking around with you.
Yeah, but it's just like you don't like. I'm thinking winning is just natural. Like this is what you do. I'm not thinking like Intermediate Cup. Didn't know what the Intermediate Cup was.
Didn't embrace it like you probably would at an older age.
Yeah, I wouldn't have valued it for what I should have at the time. But as I said, you're young and you're thinking like this is just normal. This is gonna happen all the time. Yeah. And like the next year we got into the final again, which like it did, and obviously we went on and won them the couple of trophies in a row, and it was the team was just. Did
you just get 2 in a row? 2 intermediate.
We got 2 in a row, yeah. And we were beaten for the 3 in a row in the semis by Avondale, who we had beaten the final previous. They beat us in their place 2-1 or 1-0, I think. And to be honest, we probably should have won the game, but that was going for the 3, and we had the players to do it. But as I said, it was one of them things. But like the players we had, like Derek Griffin, Gavin Kavanagh, then came back.
Came back from Forest.
Forest. Brilliant player as well. Like you'd as you know, the middle of the park, Danny, Kramer, James, you'd Larko, Duggo, who came in. People don't even know Duggo. Duggo was, again, he had to put his head to it. What a player! Like he came on the scene, just started banging in goals. The kid had to come in from the
Jamesy spoke about him, didn't he? Yeah. And where did he go then? He did fade off. I think Jamesy said
it was a mad one, like, because we progressed so well and we were doing great and winning everything, and looking like a team that couldn't be beaten. And then we went the FAI Cup. I think we won a provisional game or something like that against somebody. Don't know who it was, but won a provisional game, say, against a normal, like, do you know who it was? It was Cockhill Celtic. Beat Cockhill at home. And then we went and we drew Shells. And we went and played Shells and in Talca Park and drew 0-0 with them in the first game. Should have beat them. Drew 0-0 with them in the first game. And the second game in the replay then, a few days later, we've done them 1-0. And in the game,
where did you play that? Just play that in Talca Park?
Played both of them in Talca. In the game, I got man of the match in the first game. I think Duggo got man of the match in the second game. And remember, after we beat them, I got a call off of Darren McKeely, and Duggo got a call off Darren McKeely to sign for Shells.
Right.
So I was like, as a player, you want to play at the highest level you can play. Yeah. So I remember talking to Martin, and to be fair to Martin, he was like, look, it's Shells, you can't, like, it's a big club, Dublin club or whatever, you can go to them. So we went, the two of us went, and just staying on the Duggo story, this is how it developed. And I remember I said to Duggo, look at Duggo, I'll pick you up for training, we'd head across. We were training in the Alta. So out we went to pick them up first. Went training. Remember, we were playing Longford Town their first game. We went down, and Keely started Duggo, and I was on the bench. Duggo got whipped off at half time. Keely bleeding at him. Now, if you're ever in a dressing room with Dermot Keely, he's along the mould of Pascal. He's fucking like, I'm in heavy. Did you ever play with Keely?
No. Play against him once.
Yeah. So anyway, so he comes in and he's tore Duggo up with the head at half time. Didn't do an awful lot wrong, to be fair. Just it was one of them games. But Keely was like that. He'd take 3 people off at half time if it wasn't going his way. He was just knee jerk. He didn't care. So anyway, next week, I say Tuesday, we're training. Or rings Duggo. What's the crack? I said, pick you up for training. No bother. Next fall phone rings about 4 o'clock. I'm not going. So I said, what? I said, not going. What do you mean I'm not going? He said, I'm not feeling great. I said, alright, sound no bother. Turns up the train, thinking he's obviously had to tell Keely. He's trying. He said, where's Duggo? I said, did he not tell you? I said, he's sick. No, he didn't tell me. So he just took my word for it. So I was like, grand. So next minute, Thursday comes. I ring Duggo, pick up a train. I'm leaving. I'm not going back. Just like that. Gone. Lasted a week. Didn't go back.
Never went back.
And after that, Duggo, I don't know, for some reason, took us just stopped playing football.
Didn't go back to Crumlin or anything?
Don't think so. He flirted with it. He went up to, I think he went to Bluebell, but he never committed again. Right. He never committed the way he committed when he was early. And if he had have, like, I know everyone hears them stories about players, but he after the one great year he had with Crumlin, he never committed to the game again, really. Do you know what I mean?
Where he could have kicked on.
He could have kicked on. Going. Well, he was meant to go to Leicester, like after that game, and he had that ability, and he just never gave himself a chance once he got taken off.
Some
that day.
people just play football to enjoy it, and then once the pressure comes on top,
he obviously got the hump back. He got the hump obviously on not playing. So then
I signed like he's on professional forms there with them.
Yeah. So played the season then with Shells, and done well. I think I made my debut against you. You were playing for Kildare County, weren't you?
Yeah.
At the time.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
You lost me in the box for a header.
Now he's recognising you.
That's right, you lost me in the box for me header.
That's the other fella, I probably got whipped off at half time myself.
Yeah. So, remember scoring on my debut in Tolka. Again, not a feeling like it, like, do you know what I mean? You're buzzing, do you know what I mean? And, so, done well. I think I scored 6 goals or something like that when I went to them, done well. And the season ended, and at Christmas time, obviously the season finishes. I don't think Keely stayed on. I think he got someone else in. I didn't hear anything, and nothing hadn't had a call at this stage. So I was thinking, what am I gonna do here? So I remember saying, go back to Crumlin. You know what I mean? That's what I'm gonna do. Like that's what I was thinking.
No one touched base at all.
Hadn't heard anything. No, hadn't heard anything, and I'd done well, as I said. But I think it was the disappointment. We got done in the playoffs by Spartan Fingal, who were a very good team at the time.
Throwing a lot of money.
They got a few quid. Liam Buckley was manager, and they got a good few players.
So he was paying for them. Gary
O'Neill, Sean Marsh,
Barker.
Bocker's with the
they had some serious players. And so I didn't hear that. And 1 or 2 calls like about going somewhere, other places and that. So, but I was like, do you know what? Go back to Crumlin. Handy for me here, like, do you know what I mean? So, went back for Crumlin, and I remember going up. I think it was probably again 4th game back, and obviously Dean Kelly, Jerry Bambrick, Martin's at the replacing me.
He had a nice strong
with 2 players,
with two strikers, 2 top strikers. So he's had to replace me with these, and I walked in, and again I'm backing myself to play. I'm saying I'm coming back to play here. So I remember going in, training for the week, and we play our 4th game back, and we're playing somebody in the cup. I think it might have been a quarter final of a cup or something like that, because that's how far it was on.
It was gone in to the season.
Yeah, maybe last 16.
Right.
Because that's the year we've obviously gone on to win everything.
That's right, yeah.
So last 16, I think, in the cups.
Year,
So goes up anyway, and team's called out, not playing. First game back, me bleeding thinking I'm going to stroll back in, obviously, do you know what I mean? On the bench, like a pig. Anyway, gets on.
Where's your white t-shirt?
Yeah, gets on for a half an hour. Scores. We win the game. Grand. I remember seeing Martin then. Martin on the Tuesday, and I'm like a pig. But Martin knew how to get I know he knew what they got the best out of me, a reaction and thing, and out of other players.
Out of anyone, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He played it very, very well.
Yeah,
you know, so he had like, there was so many good, like, as I said, I think going forward, there was Dean Kelly, there was Jerry Bambrick, there was myself, there was Larko. So like we there was us four.
Won the quadruple.
It was us four, probably in their prime, fighting out for sort of two places.
Yeah,
really,
like a 4-4-2.
Unless he was going to jig it and put someone out wide, which wouldn't have been me, because as you just said, I couldn't run
the wheelchair.
So anyway, gets obviously as you go on. So I ends up getting in, and I'm playing up front with Dino, and Larko's playing out on the right sometimes, and Jerry's coming in for games. He's sort of rotating a little bit.
Yeah.
So obviously as a starter,
he does that, especially when he knows
did it well.
He's in all the cups.
Yeah, he did
and
it.
And you know what it does?
Fresh.
It keeps it fresh, and everybody buys into it, because there's cup finals and semi-finals coming. So if you're kind of in and out, you're going, I'm sticking around here because I could play here. Do you know what I mean? So, and he does, in fairness to him, he balances it out well.
Yeah, so he did that,
and
really
then chops it in the final.
That's what happened. That's what happened with the players. Thankfully, it wasn't me, but everybody was on the hook, because you have the bug. You're in 4 quarter-finals. Christmas comes. Will I leave? Will I stay? That's what people are saying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These lads that are on the periphery of it are thinking, be a part of something here that's going to be great.
Of course.
Alan Barrett could pick up an injury here. I could get in. Tony could pick up an injury here. And I'm in. And even if he doesn't, I still fancy myself in. That's what way people are thinking. And that was the competitiveness of the squad. The squad was very competitive, and it was healthy competition for places, but training again.
I was going to say, was training up there? Was it the intensity? Or say
training, like, you go training and you think you were going to stroll in and have a handy night. But not like, I mean,
everyone's fighting for positions. You said there's 4 centre forwards fighting for 2 places there.
Yeah.
I say it was just fucking carnage. Not carnage in a good way, but everyone wanted to prove a point.
Well, there was carnage, like, in training in the right way, but it was like, you know, tackles flying in. It wasn't like training. It was like competitive games. Like it was like, for argument's sake, say you'd see Larko going in, say, in a 50-50 with, say, Derek Griffin. Larko get done in the 50-50. He like a demon running around chasing him, like literally wanting to get him back. Like, that's what it was like. It was like, you know, you done me, I'm gonna, I'll be back at you. Like, not in a nasty way, but in the right way, that sort of winning mentality. And everyone was chomping at the bit. And it was just, as I said, it was healthy competition. But at the same time, like, there was, but it was kept at the right level. You know what I mean? You would
no one ever overstepped.
No one ever overstepped the mark. But there was plenty of words had and plenty of verbals of on and off the pitch with players. But again, I think that's a dying thing in the game. It doesn't happen enough for me. Like, especially now in management, I see that and I'm like, I'd like to see a player bleed and have a go at someone, or, you know, you don't see it enough now.
With a scruff.
Yeah, exactly. So as I said, we're in 4 quarter-finals or whatever it is, and your lads are, will I go, will I stay? Because, you know, Christmas time, people think that if I'm not playing, I'm going. But we end up holding on to everybody, because everybody was just buying into it, and everybody wanted to be part of what was looking like it was going to be, you know, really successful season that sort of probably, you know, wouldn't be done again. And so we kicked on then, and we remember playing. We got to the Force Cup final, which was the Charlie, and I remember going into the game and thinking to myself, what's he going to do here? Martin's in big. I think myself, he's got big problems here. Like, and I'm thinking, like, without being big headed, I'm thinking, I'm definitely playing. You know what I mean? And I'm not ditching any players. I'm thinking myself, so is Dino. You know what I mean? I think Dino's playing as well. So who's not playing?
He has to go with you too. Like,
but Jerry Bambrick is there now. Like, Jerry Bambrick, an unbelievable striker. Worst trainer I've ever seen.
But I'll put him on a pitch though. And
Jerry, what a player, what a goal scorer! Like, I mean, just off the cuff, man was just like frightening, scoring
tough
goals.
to play against. I played centre half against him a couple of times. I think when it was with Tolkien, he was coming to the end of his kind of career. I think he was playing with Fairhouse or something like that. But I played against him. I think I played against him with Crumlin as well once or twice. But holy lanch, and he was tough, man. He was a tough fucker.
But he was. Again, Jerry was in his
prime then.
Yourselves. But that was the competition, and I remember the team got called out, and Jerry missed out, and naturally, if it was me missing out or anyone missing out, you're like a pig. And we end up winning the final.
You and Dino up top?
Me and Dino up top, yeah. And Larker was out on the right. We end up winning the final 3-0 or 3-1. And
Who just beat?
we beat Dublin Bus in the Coal Cup in the final. That was, I think the Charlie was up there or something to do with that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I
so,
like when the finals are like that.
Yeah.
The Metro and the Charlie
Yeah.
are in a home ground, like say down in Home Farms pitch.
of course,
You know what I mean? Or as you said there, the Coal Cup, because I think it creates a nice
There's a
atmosphere.
bit of thing behind it, isn't it?
We played the Charlie Cup final with Crumlin against Wayside, and they played it in Tolka Park, and it was in April, and the pitch was terrible,
Stinking,
and the atmosphere was shy.
Yeah.
Bit of a crowd
Yeah.
there. You have your family and all that.
You
but
want
it was
something close to the
terrible.
pitch, though.
Yeah.
You want
You
an old
want,
school fucking
down in Frank
pitch,
Hugh
yeah.
and let everybody get around it,
Yeah.
or down in Home Farm and get everybody close to
Here's
the
your,
pitch.
here your eels and
And
ayahs
keep the amateur kind of feel to it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Look at, and that's you want to be keeping that, like, you know, like the normality to it, where people are like being able to relate to it. Of
course,
I played in that 2 years ago,
Yeah.
or do you know what I mean? That's why we go
Yeah.
and watch it.
The
100%.
stadium kind of thing is only good when it's schoolboy football, 16, 17s.
Give them a
15s,
taste.
Give them a taste
Yeah.
of, bring your man and bring your nanny and
Yeah,
all that.
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
You all get t-shirts with your name on it.
Yeah. So I mean, so we ended up, we won that final, and I remember saying to myself again, next final was the intermediate in Dalymount, and we're playing Avondale, and at this stage, you know, I'm thinking to myself, who's going to who's going to miss out here?
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because I'm seeing
Same again.
we've won the final. I'm thinking to myself, is he going to change it? Is he not? And to be fair, he ends up changing it again. He ends up dropping Larko in the final. He plays Dino out wide, and he plays myself and Jerry down the middle.
Did he?
Yeah.
Dino out wide.
Dino out wide.
And he had a phenomenal year, didn't
Yeah.
he?
Dean, everything hit Dean.
Outrageous
It was
year,
just like he was. I always knew Dean was a very good player from playing against him with Tolka. Do you know what I mean? But when he came to Crumlin, when I came back, you could see
He stepped up a level, didn't he? Then?
he was electric.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was electric, and what he had that probably a lot of strikers hadn't got was he had that pace.
Yeah.
He had that pace, and he was a finisher. He knew how to score goals. He was ruthless when he was in front of goal, but he could score from anywhere. He could Dana could hit one from 30 yards in the top corner, or he could be in 1-on-1 and he's composed. He was just very, very, very good. And he, as I said, when he came to us, he was at the top of his game. Top of his game. He was I'd say the best striker in the country.
Mm. Yeah, at that time.
Without a
definitely,
shadow of a doubt. But he put Dean out wide, yeah. And he went with myself and Jerry down the middle. And to be honest, that day we were poor. We were poor in the final, but we ended up winning it. We ended up winning sort of what good teams do. You know, we grounded out.
Slug it out.
Like I said
Get through
earlier, we weren't a one-dimensional team that if we had a bad day, we got beat because we couldn't play football. We had two sides to us that if we did have a bad day, we could still dig in because we had enough quality to pull a goal.
to mix it.
Yeah,
yeah
and pull
yeah.
a goal somewhere and see the game out, because, as I said, when you've Paul McCabe, Derek Griffin at the back, lads that, like, you know, I remember thinking to myself, I'd love to play against Derek Griffin. You know what I mean? Like, because it was like, just go to war
Yeah,
with
he
him.
was that good,
Yeah,
yeah.
he was that type of player, you know. But you'd always feel safe that you wouldn't be copping up stupid goals. And we never did cop up stupid goals, really, especially for the way we played, playing total football. Like, and to be fair, Paul Martin was the coach, and he was a brilliant coach, like an FAI coach, and like that's all normal now. Back then, that wasn't the case. Back then, not many FAI coaches would have been in.
They
with
weren't
teams.
even allowed to. Sometimes, sure, they weren't. Like,
And it wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't a case, Alan, where we come up and these would be exceptional drills. It would be simple stuff, but you'd have it all done at
yeah.
proper pace, everything 100.
That's how he controlled it.
Yeah.
yeah. And
That-
he was a great coach as well, Paul.
And he was a great talker, and everybody bought into what he wanted to do. But yeah, we ended up obviously winning that then, and it was obviously that was, you know, to win 2 in a row. I think the second one was more, you know, you realise, because it was in, you know, the first one you sort of just going with the flow, but the second one, the build up to everything and all, you're going for 2 in a row. It's not easily done.
And you're playing a club like Avondale as well, and being so successful in that cup.
And the talk about it is, you know, going for 2 in a row, and at that time it was paper talk.
Yeah,
It wasn't social media.
Yeah,
So it's getting splashed all over, you know, papers
country.
and
It's reaching everyone, yeah.
It's everywhere, like, you know what I mean? So yeah, that was it was obviously great to obviously win that, and you know, but like I said, the players lucky enough to play with players like that, and you know, a team like that. So then we obviously went on and, you know, won the Metro. I think it was the Metro, was it? Yeah, I think it was the Metro as well. But at that stage, I was saying to you earlier, I had gone on trial for Blackpool for a week.
From Crumlin.
Yeah. So I went on trial for Blackpool.
This was during that season, the
Yeah.
quadruple season.
Yeah, so I've gone on trial to Blackpool for a week, and I remember going over and
And Dino went from Crumlin to Oldham that
Yeah, but
year.
that
as
was
well, did he?
after me.
After the
How many
season.
goals you get?
That was-
Isn't it unbelievable, isn't it, to be playing Leinster top level Leinster Senior League and playing intermediate finals and then get a trial with Blackpool. And what did you say? You were in the championship at that
They were
time?
in the
Like, something
championship.
Unbelievable.
yeah,
How
Ian
many
Holloway.
goals you got that season at that stage?
Oh, I don't know, Nelson, to be honest. I think of maybe say 16, 17 goals. Dean Kelly was the one that was
Yeah.
banging them in, but
With your double figures.
yeah, it was like I was sort of where I was playing. Like it was that sort of myself and Dino had that like sort of we just hit it off regarding because Dino always wanted to go in behind.
Yeah.
I sort of was more of a creator
Yeah,
as well.
up into
And
the
then
half
you had
turn.
James obviously coming in behind. You know, he was banging in
Centre
goals
halves
as
to know
well.
what they were doing. Going
Yeah.
long, going short. Fucking
That's what we
tracking
had.
runner.
We just had like bodies come up everywhere that could score goals. But so yeah, we went over there for a week, and it might have been before the intermediate or whatever.
Yeah.
But we went over there for a week, and my first time actually meeting fucking Bocker Bailey. I think anyone that knows Bocker Bailey knows that he's a madman. So, to say
So
the least.
Baka was over there and it happened to be the same week you were there.
He was
Obviously.
going on the same
Yeah.
week as me.
Right.
And Bocker was obviously with Fingal. So I had known him obviously from when I was with Shells, played against Fingal and all that. I've heard all the stories about me back then.
Yeah.
So anyway, I only meet him for the first time in the airport. And he was like, oh, he says, what's the story? Blah, blah, blah. Going over. So, yeah, so he ends up going over and gets over there and we're staying in a bedsit for the week. And I'm in with him for the week. Well, I tell you, it was a long week, lads. That's all I'm going to say. It was a long week. So, myself and Buck are over there for the week and we're going in train. I remember going to train the first morning. And as I said, championship team, Ian Holloway, sound, went in, made us welcome, goes in.
What sort of players are there?
You got Charlie Adam, Eva the centre half. You had Craney. You had DJ Campbell. Do you remember DJ Campbell? Who else was there? Jesus, did some good players. Can't actually think of them off the top of
Some
my
of
head.
them players probably would have made it to the Premier League or a season.
Yeah,
or
they
two
all
after.
went on and done well.
Yeah.
They all went on and
Good
done
then.
well. And so we were. So we've gone in. Obviously, first trains. Obviously, you're a little bit nervous. You know what I mean? I think to yourself like.
How old are you?
I think I was about 24 at the time. First time in England on a trial. You know, so
At that age as well, like
yeah. So I'm going in and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, you're obviously backing yourself. I know I can play, so I'm going in here. I'm just gonna, play. So I've gone in anyway. Training's like back home, but it's obviously a quicker tempo. Like, do you know what I mean? You're five-a-sides and them in your games and things like that. So gone in, done really well in the training, really happy. First day, remember Holloway saying, you want to stay out and hit a few balls afterwards, with him. He was that type of like, sort of bubbly character, and he says to the boss, Bucky, you stay out? I said, yeah, I'll stay out. I was doing anything. I said, right, I'll stay out. trying out here to get a deal. So I remember we set up this drill, for
Just the two of yous?
no,
Or a few
he's
of
got
yous?
like just sort of strikers type of thing, but Barker stayed out because he was obviously, we were both on trial, so it was like not a good thing saying no here, like, just stay out, so he sets up this drill and we're doing the drill and he's got a keeper and whatever way it works out anyway, you're getting 3 balls fired at you, like from different directions, touch, hit, from outside the box. Everything went bleeding, hits flying in. I think myself, I can't do this at home. So I fucking think someone's looking down at me here.
you must have Dino Kelly's boots on.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Tell him the Dino's Preds. So next, everything is flying in. I'm not joking with you. I think myself, well, so first day, second day, third day, fourth day, absolutely
Still flying.
Flying. Like, I remember Bocker even saying to me, he's like, keep doing what you're doing here. He says,
You're staying.
yeah. So I'm thinking, next fall gets a phone call, Martin, and the fella that's at the way the trial, he's like, look, Holloway's just been on to me here. He's impressed. Keep doing what you're doing, like. So then they organised a game against Oldham. We meant to play Oldham in a friendly, and it started snowing over there. So the game was called off. The morning we were meant to play them, the game was called off. So he says, look, he says, I want to get a look at them in a game. He says, what I'll do is, I'll have an in-house friendly. So where they train is on an airfield. This is me making the excuses already. So I'm building it up here. So where they train is on an airfield, and I'm not joking, lads, it's bleeding pissing snow, right? And freezing. So it goes out, and they've got no games are called off. So he's put the 2 first team centre halves marking, say myself. Now it's obviously
test it,
this fella's like. So gone out, had an absolute mare in the game, and I'm thinking myself, fuck's sake. So comes in pissed on, comes in after the game. So he says, your man Martin comes over to watch the game because he said he wants to speak to them after the game. So comes in after the yoke. So he says into the office, goes into Holloway. Holloway's in a pair of boxer shorts and a pair of shoes, and nothing on him, just sitting there at the bleeding table after being pissed on. Just got stripped.
Yeah, he seems like one of them.
Just came in, just yapping away. All right, lads, a cup of tea, all the usual. So having a crack, chatting away, and he's like, look, he says, you're doing really well. He says, really like. He said, but I think we're gonna get promoted this year. I'm looking at man thinking, no chance of getting promoted. This is at the time, right? In my head, I'm thinking, this is just an easy custard for me here.
Get out here,
get out here.
You're not going to be able next year. Yeah.
So he says to me, he says, but look at, he says, I really like you. He says, I'm after recommending you to Les Party. He says, down in Oldham. He says, would you like to go down? But at this stage, I'd already been offered to go and play in Australia. So I was like, yeah. He says, but if you're gonna go, you've got to go tomorrow. So I remember saying to
and sign or and trial again.
Trial again.
So
like there was nothing on the table. And I remember saying to Hamo, I was wrecked after the week, but I wanted it at the same time. Obviously, you want to, you know what I mean. You're getting all these opportunities and being offered things.
You don't want to pass anything up.
So I remember saying, look, I said, yeah, leave it with me. I'll think about it. Like it was. So we end up going home, and I remember saying to Paul Hammond, he was the one that had the contact over in Australia. I remember saying to him, look, I'll take it. I'm just going to go to Australia, take a chance.
Just try it.
Yeah, see as it work. Yeah. So he ended up going to Australia, and Larko jumped on it with me.
Right.
So I said to Larko, would you come? And he says, yeah. I said, come over. I says, you get a deal here, like, you know what I mean? So he says, yeah. He says, I'll go with you. So we've jumped on a flight, we've gone over. I was already doing deals, so we've gone down training, and it's brutal. Got over there.
The standard
is like not great at all. I don't think myself, happy days. So we get over, Larko ends up getting a deal, Grant, playing away, training, first game, playing down in, can't even think of the name of the team anyway, some Italian team we were playing. First game, straight red, sent off, right? And I'd never even get red.
Yeah,
like just fella taking the piss. I've gone in and just clattered him, got the ball, but he jumped up and he grabbed me, and it was just reaction. 2 of us got sent off. So I remember after the game, Grand next fall, Tuesday, goes in training. On the Monday, manager calls me. He's into the office. He says, "Look, you've got a 3-week ban." I says, "Yeah, just grand, yeah." He says, "Yeah," but he says, "You know the rules over here?" And I says, no, I don't know the rules. He says, get suspended over here for 3 weeks. He says, you don't get paid. I says, you what?
Show me that contract again.
After your first game.
Yeah. He says, I'm not getting paid. I said, I'm out of here. Yeah. So he says, no, listen, he says, I said, I got a red card on the picture telling me, it says, I get bleeding 3 weeks and I get paid for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And he says, look, I said, I'll have a word with the club. He said, but you don't usually do it. I said, well, if you don't do it for me, I said, I'm out of here. So, anyway, he come back to me. He's like, no, you're grand. So come back after suspension. So the big man is playing. Big man's ripping her up. Bleeding scoring goals every week. I'm loving him over here, right? I'm thinking myself, I'm meant to be the fucking one here getting the bleeding plot. If the big man's taking the bleeding line right here, I get the sack. So he comes back after 3 weeks suspension, and me and him were up front, and we're scoring every week, doing really well, and. I remember he gets a call off some team, another team that we're after playing. This is like Italian team, and he said, "Look, we'd like to speak to the 2 of you to come down, and if you wanted to sign, we'd like to sign you."
Whereabouts in Australia, yes?
We're in Perth, right? So
he's enjoying it at this stage.
No, absolutely hating it. 2 of us, it's Groundhog Day. 2 of us are in the apartment, and we're just bleeding, hating it. I mean, hating it. Like, it wasn't for me. But
You think when you hear the Australia, few quid,
and Nelson
fucking jobs, gap and all that, he's scoring goals. Oh, this is gonna be lethal.
he looked
They
after
have
us
their
in
own
an
stadium
apartment,
and all, yeah.
a card, like they had us, like, no, not a blatant, yeah, they looked after us well, to be fair. Couldn't knock them. Peter Johnson was the name of your man, lovely fella in Blanchardstown originally, but was over there like 25 years, 30 years. So he says, so we comes back with doing, so he gets the call, obviously, like, was this team wants to meet up, just blah blah blah. So I says to Peter, I says, look, there's a team onto us here. I says, to go down. I says, you can't go anywhere. He says, you're on a contract. He says, Stephen, he says he can go, if he wants. He says, but you can't. He says, because you signed the deal before you came or whatever. So I was like, oh, grand. So I says to Lark, look, I'll go with you. You know what I mean? You want to go down to see what they have to say. So I'll never forget, I remember pulls up, he says, we meet us down at the clubhouse, you know. So he gets down to, pulls up in Australia, this ground we were playing. We walks into the bar like something like, you know, clubhouse. Walks in, next volume, man, says, like a lemonade or a, yeah, grand. So all bleeding fella comes out with a moustache like an Italian fella, right? Like something out of bleeding Gambino. He said, what's going on here? He says, lads, you have to go down here into the little snug here. It's like a little snug room, right? He goes down. Goes in and sitting there, and he's like, look, what you want? We want you to sign. And I was like, genuinely like something out of a film. I remember coming out, and I said to Largo, I said, that's bleeding madness. I said, it's crazy, like. So we came out, and I said to Largo, just say to Peter, look, we had to be offered a few quid. Largo was obviously trying to squeeze another few quid out of the bleeding whole thing, play the game. Do you know the way it goes?
As you do,
yeah. So he ended up staying. He ended up getting a few quid extra, and we ended up staying for Largo after probably, I think 5 months or 6 months, says to me, look, he said, I can't do it anymore. He says, I'm going.
Yeah.
And home. And I says, I said, look, I said, I'm
on the contract at this stage,
yeah. And I says, do you know what?
Did you do a 2-year contract with him? Did you?
Yeah. And I says to Largo, I said, look, I said, and do you know what the other thing was? Probably a stupid thing, but you know when you're at the leaving home, sort of half a going away party, and
you don't want to go
back.
Yeah,
you're thinking to yourself, do you know what? I don't just want to bleed and just knock this on the head now. I want to sort of give it every chance.
All the money in the going away cards.
Yeah. I left them at home. Stop. So he ends up, I says, look, if you're going to go. I says, and I said, I'm going to stick it out and see what happens. I said, look, I said, I have to. I said, I'm not coming now. I said, I could bleed halfway across the world. I said, I can't just bleed and pack it in. So he says, right. So he went. Then I'm on my own. Oh my God. Rough. I'm bleeding there on my own in the apartment, man. Depressed down my head.
No way.
Yeah, I'm sitting there like, and I think to myself, oh, what am I doing? Like, I'm training every day, grand, coming home. And at that stage, just.
Bleeding talk, though,
yeah. And at that stage, I hit home. I was like, now I know what people in England have to, put up with, like, when people say it.
Yeah.
I was like, be careful what you wish for, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But I'm halfway across the world, so I stuck it out for another, probably, I'd say, the season. I think it was like 2 games left in the season, and I says to, remember a Croatian lad that I sort of became friendly with over there off the team. I remember ringing him one morning. I said, listen, is there any chance you could pick me up? I remember going down to the town in Perth. Just walked into Qantas. I says, just give me a one-way ticket. I says, oh, man, we're here. Just walked in, one-way ticket. Got your man to drop me to the airport. I was gone
straight
the next
away.
morning.
Just
said nothing.
Yeah.
So probably looking back on it, I did it the wrong way. Did that, jumped on a plane, said nothing to nobody. Just arrived home myself. Just literally, I was that far gone in the head.
But that's what it's at the driving you to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And especially, like as you said there, the people in the UK, they're only a phone call or an hour and a half away, an hour and a half at most to look, listen, I'm coming home, I'm out here, you're halfway across the world. Yeah. So that's why you probably dealt with it in that way and said,
of course,
listen, I'm out here, I'm not even telling anybody.
So, as to be expected, it didn't go down very well. So the manager thinks that I'm after doing a runner up to Sydney, and he's ringing me, and I'm saying, listen, I used the old Stephen Ireland trump card. I said, look, there's had to be a death at home. You know, I said, the nanny's at the passing, right? And he's like, you're not at home. Yeah. So I'm thinking to myself, the old Stephen Ireland trick is going to work here, and he's not buying it at all. Right. He's telling me, you're up in Sydney, you won't kick another ball up in Sydney, you're on a contract here, blah, blah, blah. I said, look at Peter. I said, I'm bleeding at home here, you madman, you. I said, I'm in Ireland. Yeah. I said, give Paul a ring, who was the lad that looked after it. So Paul rings me, and he says, where are you? I said, I'm in my house. What do you mean your house? I said, in my house. Where? I says, in Dublin. He says, what? He said, since when? I says, I flew home yesterday. He said, are you bleeding joking me? I says, no. I said, I couldn't stick it out anymore, Paul. He said, oh, Jesus. He said, he thinks you're up in Sydney. He said, he's saying you'll never kick another ball again. You won't get international clearance. You know, all the balaza.
Yeah, all the usual.
I said, look at how you're going to have to get on to him. I said, and just sort it out. I said, I'll ring him myself. I said, like, what does he need to know that I'm not in Australia? I said, I'm back in Ireland. So, took about another, I'd say, 4 months to get me international clearance. Really? He was holding out on it. Like, he was proper on it, like. So I ended up getting the international clearance.
So you couldn't play, obviously, for them few months while you're home?
Just training away. So ends up coming back, obviously, then, and I got a bad back injury. I was out then for probably about a year. I missed a year, and ends up getting back into it, and I then ends up going back to Crumlin, training with Crumlin, and gets a call from Roddy Collins.
Big Rod, the phone rings, hot rod rings, and next minute he's like, Grifo, you know Roddy, Grifo, how you doing? Roddy Collins, blah blah blah. Look, you'd like to come up do pre-season, see how you get on. I says, yeah, no problem. Monaghan, yeah. I says, yeah, no problem, Rod. I said, I'll go up do pre-season. He says, grand. Ends up going up doing pre-season and hit off like a house on fire already. Literally like bleeding.
Madman, is he?
Sound like, but yeah, madman, but right up here street.
Yeah.
Proper,
has the cracking out
the proper, you know what I mean? Like you know, after coming from like yourself, working class areas, and you know, understood everybody around, and we were all the same. You know what I mean? You'd Willow McDonough, you'd Bocker, you'd Keith Quinn, you'd Alan Bourne, Bermo was doing pre-season with us. That was before Bermo went back to Pats. Good move by him. And he put you had Connor that played with Crumlin. What's Connor's second name? Connor Murphy. He was flying at the time. He was at Bray. He had signed. So yeah, we're flying here off, as I said, with Rod. Loved me. Grand. Flying in pre-season. Doing well. Scored a couple of goals. Remember the pre-season runs and all. Roddy was saying, you just relax there, Greg. I says, don't do anything. I think myself, it's bleeding great. You know what I mean?
He knew.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, grand. So anyway, pre-season, grand. Starts the season. And we played Dundalk first game, missed a bleeding sitter. Should have beat them 0-0. Bleeding blind the pitch, ballooned over the bar. And that was grand. Probably should have won the game. Then we've lost 3 then on the spin. I remember being in the dressing room after losing 3 on the spin, and comes in and he says, he's sitting there like everyone's deflated, you know what I mean? I think to yourself, bleeding brutal here we are, you know what I mean? Actually, he says, look at lads, he says, our pre-season's only starting now. I'm looking up and saying, what's he bleeding 4 weeks into the season here? I'm not the bleeding playing, having 6 weeks of pre-season already. 5 weeks, he says, after 5 games, he says, your pre-season's only finished. He says, relax, he says, this'll all come good. I think myself, this fella's fucking mad. There's no bleeding way this is coming good, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, anyway, loses another 1, I think, 2. So, I think about 5 games, we got 1 point, which is the first day of the season. And
good start.
Yeah, a very good start. Yeah. So 1 point.
Was the camera following you?
Yes, we're on the Rod Squad. Yeah, we're on the Rod Squad.
Remember the TV program?
Putting the lights up and comes out the fucking thing.
That's
really breaks his neck.
It'll be a very short episode, that one.
Yeah. So what a man. So anyway, we 5 games in, we've 1 point, and I think we said, oh Jesus Christ, this is bad. Like, you know what I mean? And we good players. We had got good players. And after that, then I remember we played. Who did we play? And we played Sligo in the FAI Cup. We got through. We got a handy draw in the first round, and we'd Sligo in the second round. Who Sligo had won 2 on the bounce.
Yeah, they were flying back then. Yeah.
When Quiggo and I was up there, Jamie McGuinness, they were all up there. I remember going up and playing, and we beat them. We beat them in the FAI Cup. Great result. We ended up knocked them out, and we were bleeding excellent in the game. So week later, plays Dundalk in Oriel. Does Dundalk. Oh, I was going to think myself, this Roddy's a bleeding genius. Fuck me, man is on the money here 5 weeks in. What a man. Fucking Mystic Mac here. So next minute, yeah, so Dundalk played Pats then in Richmond, who would have been sort of going for the league under Bucco. Drew 2-2 with them. another great
Getting good results.
getting good results. We're starting to click. I'm thinking,
Confidence
like,
come back in
yeah.
that belt, yeah.
so we're getting going, and then we played. I don't know who it was we played, but we Shamrock Rovers when Stephen Kenny was in charge. Rovers are home with Monaghan, draws 0-0 with them. So we're off the back of 5 good results now.
Yeah, against good teams.
Yeah, and the break comes for the week.
They do the break.
They do that little break.
Yeah.
You can go on holiday. So he goes off to Egypt for the week. Says, right, Grant, heads out to Egypt on the holiday, the week break. Thinking, lovely little break here, back to the football. I'm away in Egypt, and I remember coming home, and I'm on the plane coming home, and Martin Kramer of all people is on the plane. He says, "You hear about Monaghan?" Oh, he says, "No." He says, "They're gone bang." I didn't even bleeding know.
No one told you.
Hadn't a clue. No bleeding signalling in Egypt. Hadn't a clue what they been bleeding let go. So
No Wi-Fi back then.
nothing. So it was got back and I was bleeding helter skelter. So the PFAI obviously naturally are on there trying to sort lads out, and you know, if they're owed wages or whatever it may be. And that's
because you were struggling for even like training grounds and
Yeah,
all. When you're just getting kicked off
training in the
patches
Phoenix
and
Park.
that's right. Yeah.
So it was mental, like, but and Roddy's missus is doing all the meals. We're on the bus around this bleeding bus. You wouldn't get fucking 14 people on it. There's 22 of us on it, but you just couldn't write it, like the crack, like, and the players like mad, like dressing room of absolute madmen. Like literally madmen, but in a good way. Exactly, in a good way. But you know what I mean, lads that were like when they went out on the pitch, done the business, but like just highly strung.
Yeah.
So
my sort of people. I tell you.
Yeah. You would have blended right in us. So anyway, so that went bang. Then the PFAI came in and they were trying to sort players out. Anyway, then I got a call from Tony Cousins to sign for Longford. So I went and signed for Longford. And had a nightmare down there. Really, just didn't work out. Just couldn't get going. It was just bleeding. Didn't play great even. Like, it was just one of them things, you know. It just didn't work out. And that was that. Left at the end of the season, and then I was at the end of the season, like we've just discussed already. It was Christmas when that season finishes. So. LSL time. We're back. We're on the roundabout. You know, we're on the merry-go-round. So I kept myself going anyway. So Christmas out comes out, and at this stage, Bluebell have been banging at the door.
Yeah.
So they've been on to me now. Who was in charge at the time of when I was playing? I think James Keddy was the manager of them when they were challenging with us. So at this stage, they've been on to me, and Andy's ringing me to sign, and I'm like, no, don't
and is Martin on to you then to go back
Martin's
to Crumlin?
On to me to go back to Crumlin naturally, like, and I think, to be fair, which he was right to think, I think he's naturally thinking I'm 100% coming back to Crumlin.
Of course.
So I remember looking at, from a personal point of view, I remember looking at the table thinking, right, Bluebell have no chance of winning the league. They're still in the intermediate. They're in the last 16 in the intermediate. Have a small chance in that. Crumlin, most likely, are probably, they have a chance to win the league, but they mightn't. And I think to myself, they want a new challenge here. That's what I was thinking. And also, the reason I was thinking that is I was thinking to myself, not many people have done it. And the show about Bluebell at the time, which was open talk, was Bluebell can't win anything. You know, not can't win anything. They won a Metro, but they can't win the league. They can't win the league. That was just.
They're not putting it up to Crumlin at the time.
They're bottlers. That was the reality of it. That was their bottle job, because the year Crumlin, we picked them up. We picked them up one. They were, Jesus, I think they were 13 points clear of us, and they just folded.
In the league, they were 13 points clear. Jesus, right.
At Christmas, and they folded. We reeled them in, and we won it. And so from a personal point of view, I was thinking, like, do you need a new challenge here? Do you know what I mean?
Because I've often looked at it and seen from, say, being over at Crumlin and then playing against them and watching them, there always seem to be a few players that played with Crumlin or else Bluebell, and because they're such a local kind of rivalry, I always wondered, what brings someone away? Like, say, like you often wondered, what brings Tony away from staying with Crumlin and going to Bluebell? And when I see him buzzer with Bluebell, I was like, Why does he make that little trip? Is it a new,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's something different, or
Yeah.
you know, something like that, just to get over there, or a bit of change, or
And
whatever.
Was there a bit of stick then when you went from the Crumlin lads, or how to work with that?
Yeah, well, I think, look, naturally, I think a lot of people were very surprised. I think a lot of people were very surprised that I made that decision to go to Bluebell.
And is that what the decision was? The new challenge.
From my
different?
point of view, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it was. I thought to myself, do you know what, I'm going to see, can I do it elsewhere? That was it.
Test yourself, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. So I made that move, and when in the first year, I got to the Intermediate Cup final with Bluebell, and we got beaten by Avondale. Got battered by Avondale in the final, to be fair. But Duggo was at the moving to Bluebell as well. So there was a bit of he was on to me to come up, and there was a little bit of a
so it was a little
connection.
bit of a sway
Yeah.
here and there. Yeah.
So I saw him. We got beaten in the Intermediate. We done well. We're doing great, and we got to the final of the Intermediate. We were 1-0 up against Avondale, final to forget, and fucking Desi Bourne played centre half. I'm not centre half, left full. Don't think Desi will begrudge me saying, but Desi had an absolute wildebeest in the game.
Wildebeest.
He came in. He came. I don't think Desi might have been out the night before. To be honest with you, I think Desi might come clean with it now. But Desi came into the training into Richmond with a black eye and a slight smell of Red Bull off him. And I said, Desi, were you out last night? No, I wasn't. You know, there's no chance. I said, yeah, you sure? Yeah, grand. Anyway, game kicks off. 1-0 up after 2 minutes. Duggo scores. I'm thinking, right, we're live here.
Game on.
And Avondale are a very good side. I think, here we go. 10 minutes later, Desi done twice at the back post, falling asleep, 2-1 down. I said, oh, Jesus Christ, here we go. Desi's definitely had to clean out all the sauce, 100%. So I think after about 60 minutes, Desi tore off. We ended up getting beaten 4-1 or 3-1, whatever it was, but comfortably beaten. So then I think with a year then where we sort of rebuilded, trying to get players. We weren't good enough to win it. You could see.
But fair play to you stuck around. Anyone that had kind of any sort of ego would say, fuck that, I'm not staying around for a rebuild here. I'm going to win trophies somewhere else.
I'm going back to Crumlin.
But obviously something kept you there. So
well, I think I am the type of person. I made me bed, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna
lie in it.
Not that I wanted to, I wasn't trying to prove a point to somebody else. I was trying to prove it to myself, and not from an
egotistical
not an
yeah.
ego thing. Not that I was going to win it on my own, because I never was.
Yeah, of course.
But I said to myself, I think we can get a team built around myself and others that we can.
So you wanted to be involved in that project.
Yeah,
and
I think we can go and we can win this league. That people think that let's be honest, nobody thought we could. Even though people might say, well, they were there or thereabouts. They were, but they weren't winning that. And I think it was 20 years since they won a league.
So what did the rebuild consist of? Like players in, and who'd you get in? And
consisted of, Andy was very good at getting players, ex-League of Ireland players in. And he was able to get, say a Brandon Melee, a Izzy Akinadi, a Richie Towell, a Keith Fatty, these type of players, high-profile names in the door, on top of, lads that had proven themselves in the league. But I think
new league as well, yeah.
Yeah, I think, and then what happened was, myself, when I went as well, when lads that I played with at Monaghan, your Willow McDonough's, your Jordan Keegan's, what a player.
You could get the little
I was
pull
able
there
to pull them in.
I
pulled them all in as well. And obviously, Andy was able to talk to them and that. But we got them in, and we built an unbelievable squad. And two huge players that signed for us that probably don't get the credit. Probably, maybe they do, maybe they don't. But the two huge signings for us, the biggest signings I thought we had was Gar Cooney.
I knew you were going to say
Gar
from Phoenix.
Yeah.
Both from Phoenix.
Both from Phoenix.
Yeah.
Two brilliant players.
Quality.
Definitely two up there with two of the top players that I've played with. Sean Gleeson, starting with him, just a
great lad as well.
Went
Sean,
about his business.
Lad. Quiet.
Always
quality player.
What a
quality
player. What a player.
He has that little half turn, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's just a natural footballer.
Yeah.
And he was just so good at what he done. And he was that good, people wouldn't even notice him.
Yeah. I think that's
the best
what
compliment
Sean.
I could play to Sean Gleeson.
Definitely.
He was that good, no one would even notice him. And people would turn around and you know when you would notice him? When he wasn't playing. Because you'd be like,
Something that we're not ticking here. We're not ticking.
We're not clicking. Sean's
Exactly.
not playing.
Exactly. And then playing with, so I would have played, there was Sean, Gar Cooney, myself in the middle of the
It's a
park.
good tree.
Yeah. And Gar Cooney, the knack that man had for scoring goals.
He was
I
dominant.
mean,
wasn't he,
again,
in
a
games?
very underrated player. Look, I know a lot of people do know, but the goals he would score, like he was a Frank Lampard centre midfielder.
Yeah.
That's what he was. He just,
Any sort of goals as well, he could score, couldn't he?
He'd always be there. You know, like I'd even look at him sometimes and say, "Fucking hell, he's just Johnny on the spot."
What you doing, fucking there?
Yeah, just
What
on
you
the
doing
spot. And as Alan said, not just like arriving into a box, like hitting a ball from 35 yards, hitting a volley, and you'd be like, "Fucking hell, Gar had that in the locker."
Yeah,
Like,
and he just turns around, doesn't he? Yeah,
and he just, them two for me especially, brought us to the next level. And then we brought in Brian Cullen and Glenn Walsh from Fairhouse, two centre halves, two very good centre halves. Again, wouldn't really get probably the credit that they deserved. Excellent, Cully, excellent centre half, lightning quick, covered the ground very well. Walshy was 6'4", just headed,
big
kicked
beast,
everything. Technically brutal, but he won't mind me saying that.
Say something else.
No, he won't mind me saying that. But as a defender, like what a defender, like just everything up. You know what I mean? Like didn't leave anything. He mopped everything up, and them two coming in, and then you Dean Lawrence that was already there again, an underrated player for me. Rusty, Tony Keeler as a captain, like you know what I mean, was again
good core players there. He's had
them players that. And we just built that, and remember we won it the first year
of the rebuild.
No,
the
second year.
So
of the
rebuild happened, and then obviously a fresh year starts. You have your squad, you have who you want. Let's kick on then,
yeah. Then we kicked on, and we fell over the line. We were again I think we were probably about 8-9 points clear, and we started to stutter. You know what I mean? Like,
was that down the head there? Like,
personally, for me, no. But no matter who you are with. There was a lot of players there that hadn't won it.
Well, that's why I'll go back to it again a few times. I've probably mentioned this podcast that when clubs have a winning DNA, like what say Crumlin had then, Bluebell didn't have that. And
that's sorry, cut across it. That's where he just said, "I thought we were going to win it, but other people didn't because he was at being that Crumlin had that mentality in him."
Exactly. So he has that DNA, and sometimes when the club has that DNA, I said it even before. When I went over to Crumlin, it wasn't like that. They say, right, this is what it's like at Crumlin. This is the rule book. You have to win every single game. It's when you go in, you go, this is a club that just wins. Do you know what I mean? And when you have that in your DNA, where you don't fall on the line, you get over the line and you win them. You know what I mean? And it takes then, as you said, the rebuild of players and to gradually get that mentality to a winning DNA in a team.
Without a doubt. And as I said, that's what happened with us. We fell over the line the first year and we got it done. But after that, then look, for me, the team massively underachieved. We won 3 leagues out of 4, and probably the 4th one actually would probably cost us because I missed the penalty down on Crumlin. Actually, we are
last game of the
season.
On
the last day of the season, and
to win it.
Yeah, one of them things. No, do you know what it was? We've gone into the last day of the season, and the league is Mocktus, Crumlin, Bluebell. We're top of the league, 2 goals better off than 3 goals better off than Mocktus.
That's what Ross was talking about.
Yeah, they were playing Wayside.
Yeah, Wayside killed us. But anyway, Pete, then we won't talk about that. That's who I'm blaming. But we're 3 goals better off. Crumlin at 2 points off. Wayside need to win to stay up.
That's right.
We need to beat Crumlin. Crumlin need to beat us. So everything's on the line.
Crumlin were worse off out of 3, but they could still win it on the day.
Wayside needed to win to stay up.
Yes.
So everything was on the.
I watched that game. It was on the Astro and Crumlin.
Yes. So game kicks off or whatever, and there's naturally at any game there's a huge crowd at the game, and we someone, I don't know who it was, someone's handled it on the line. He's got a straight red. It's going in. Someone's handled it. One of the centre halves. I don't think who it was now at the top of my head, but he's handled it anyway.
For you?
No, for them.
For penalty, just a penalty.
Yes. Right. And it's 0-0. There's probably about 15 minutes gone in the game, and we've stepped up and said, you know what, I should put this down the bleeding middle, not take any chances.
Dink?
No,
he doesn't think.
No thinking. So I said, just power this down the middle. Mikey was in goal, I think. And I said, we'll just power this straight down the middle. And I ran up, I don't know what bleeding happened. I just hit it, and I think it's come out my boot and just fucking blew straight over the bar. And you know when you just look up, and I know you've seen it before, Nelson. Don't know about you, I didn't let you on pens. So
We put them to a corner, boys, yeah.
So look, the thing is just gone flying over the bar, and like, don't believe that. But we've ended up kicking on, and we won the game. We won the game 2-1. Anyway, reports come back from bleeding Mocktus have won the game.
I remember when you scored,
5-0.
you celebrated because you thought it was
Yeah.
enough for the
Yeah,
goal
of
difference.
course,
Yeah.
because we were already 3 up.
Yeah, and everybody was like, "No, get
Yeah.
back!" They had to call them back.
So the way it worked, we ended up losing the league by a goal.
By a goal.
By a goal.
Your penalty.
Yeah,
For
for 4 in a row.
Oh.
For 4 leagues. Sorry, no, that was for 3 in a row, and we bounced back then the year later, and we won the league, and we won 3 out of 4.
Keep going.
Very good, it is,
okay.
yeah. And then that's obviously from the rebuild and being bottlers and
Yeah.
everything else, to fucking kicking on.
Losing a few intermediate
Yeah.
finals as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
The second year would have been the second year we won it. The game was on the it was always with Crumlin. Second year
Yeah,
was
it always seems
it
to
was-
be that way. doesn't
it was last game of the season, Crumlin v Bluebell, and I'm not joking. I'd say there was
They always leave it, don't they?
Yeah.
They just leave it. to
last
have
game of
that
the
action.
season. We needed a point to win the league. Crumlin needed to beat us, and they had. I'd say there was over 2,000 people at the game. I'd never seen it. It was a summer's evening, Wednesday. They had it on a Wednesday evening, and I'm telling you now,
Your place or
in
our
our
road,
place.
yeah.
and I swear to God, it was like the place was like rammed, and it wasn't actually a great game, but it was 2-2, finished 2-2, and we got it over the line. That was to win 2 in a row, but it was, as I said, there was some serious ding dongs with Crumlin, but
You just had a great rivalry, didn't you?
yeah,
Stan?
we did,
yeah,
and as you said, the crossover of a couple of players like myself that had left, and you know what I mean. But I never like Crumlin. I had some brilliant times at Crumlin, like, you know what I mean. Some of my best times down there, but like, as I said, it was when I left, it was to for a challenge to try to do it somewhere else.
Yeah.
And like, I think a lot of players, to be fair, and nothing against players that stay at clubs, because if you're winning, why would you leave? But I was obviously had to go on LSL, League of Ireland, LSL, League of Ireland. So I was out a little bit, you know what I mean. So I wasn't always just there.
yeah.
So I had that opening when it came to say, right, well, do you know what?
yeah.
Something
I'll give it a go.
Exactly, yeah.
So-
yeah. And then the door would always be open, if not anyway, because you've been there. And
Yeah,
of
exactly.
course.
So I mean, at Bluebell, obviously, yeah. So we've kicked on then, and the next year after missing the penalty, the disappointment, obviously, and it's one of them things that never, it's because I know if we scored that penalty, I think we'd have won the game 3 or 4-0. Crumlin would have, against 10 men. I think we'd have kicked on. It took the edge off us as well, knowing you have to win the game. That's my thoughts anyway. But look, it's one of them things, isn't it? That
You never know. Sure,
Yeah.
something.
Of course, yeah. I'm not going to dwell on it, but it's gone now. But I tell you, I didn't sleep that night. That's all I will say. And but we end up redeeming ourselves obviously the year after, and we ended up winning it. And that was. And then after that year,
Actually beat us to the league. We came second
Yeah.
that year, yeah.
Yeah, you chased us
that's
down.
right,
You came late
Yeah,
again.
came late again. Started
Yeah.
kicked on at Christmas.
You
We
just won
did,
a
yeah.
right few on
yeah.
the spin. That's exactly.
Caught up,
how-
and it was only the last 2 or 3 games. I think it might have been. You just caught it.
Yeah. So so we ended up, and then obviously it started to. I went into, obviously, as we spoke about already, the management end of it. After that, and went into the Saturday, and I took the seniors for in COVID.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Remember that.
But it just didn't work out, and I ended up obviously leaving it, and then I went back and played for Crumlin
yeah,
with you.
Yeah, that's
Had a
right.
year
You and
with
Leon
you.
Narco came down. Yeah,
yeah. We came down at Christmas.
I mean, we went for it as well, didn't
Yeah,
we?
we had a right row.
Yeah, we
We ended
mocked us
coming-
end up getting
yeah,
it, didn't
We
they?
ended up coming second. I think,
Second,
or third,
yeah.
We were
Yeah.
right in it to the death.
That's
I
right.
think we drew a game, killed us against somebody. I don't know who it was.
I think it was mocked us.
Was
Second
actually.
last game of the
Yeah,
season.
that
We
was the
drew
one.
2-2.
Yeah, 2-2. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, we came. Yeah, we were winning
Or
the
did
game.
Malahoyd win it that year?
Malahoyd, I think. you're right.
Malahoyd nicked it, didn't
Yeah.
they? But we could have caught Malahoyd
Yeah.
and drew that game against Mocked,
Yeah.
the second last game.
I remember we hit the front wall. She scored.
We came back after COVID and didn't lose a game.
No, we're flying. We're a
Mm.
different team.
Different team.
But yeah. So I mean, it it was
An eventful
it
career.
was
It's just
some
fair to
roller
say, yeah.
coaster. It was
Jesus.
some roller coaster, yeah.
International football over the league in Australia,
Yeah.
Yeah,
League of Ireland.
yeah.
But as James, he said actually, he said you can have a kind of be a player that plays League of Ireland that hasn't really got a name in and out, or come down and play Lancashire League that have a big career. But you fucking done both.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it in a bad way or anything, but
No.
you went up and had a good pop at League of Ireland. You scored a couple of goals. You're fucking highly regarded by managers, and you still had a good career in Lancashire League.
Yeah, I think as well, like we spoke about already, I think that's like any player that like you should want to play at the highest level you can. You know what I mean?
100%,
Like
or at least
exactly.
have a go at it.
Like
yeah.
there was nothing like, as I said, even when I went on trials, I know we spoke about it already. When I went to Blackpool, then when I came back, I went to Rotherham. I went to Bury. I ended up going on.
Did you really?
From
Did you? Yeah.
trials after that.
Yeah.
But
And from not having any as a schoolboy, and then
in me
amateur
mid-
amateur career
yeah.
gave you that.
in
gave
my
you that chance, yeah.
mid-20s, I ended up going to 4 or 5. I went Rotherham, Bury. I remember, and there was. I remember the England game. I remember playing for Rotherham against Sheffield United in a friendly, and on trial. And this was the moment I knew that I wasn't good enough.
Right.
I remember playing the game. It was about 10 minutes in, and I'm playing up front. I remember I broke the offside trap and I'm away. I'm about 5 yards in front of a lad, black lad, centre half, you know. And next of all, I just goes to look over my shoulder and he's gone by me.
Took the ball up.
He just literally ran by me
Yeah.
like I was standing
Yeah.
still. And it was at that moment I said to myself,
Not gonna make that in here.
I'm
I
gone.
haven't got it.
I'm gone.
Mm.
The pace. I said, you just
Yeah,
don't get away with it. You
yeah,
haven't got the
yeah.
legs. I looked out because I remember the manager was there watching. I can't think of his name right now because I was at the train and I trained up well all week. And I remember if only training was to go on, you'd have got two deals. But I remember looking
Ian
over.
Holloway was behind you in his boxers.
You know that feeling when you just, it was like that gut-wrenching feeling of acceptance in myself. And I ended up just, probably one of the very few times I ended up, even in the game, just said,
Deflated.
yeah, just wanted out of there. I said, I just
Yeah.
want home. I said, I'm bleeding. I said,
I
I
know
had enough
now.
of this
Yeah,
shit
I know now. Yeah,
It's just not. I'm just not gonna do it. So yeah. But as you said, like for players, like I mean, in mid-20s, getting them the opportunities in the Leinster Senior League, and like we spoke
Absolutely.
about, Dino ended up signing for Oldham,
Yeah.
and done okay over
Had a
there.
bit of pace about him.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but he ended up doing well, and he
Mm.
ended up coming back. Obviously, a good career in the League of Ireland,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so I mean, like there's definitely, I think there's loads of opportunities.
There's
for
opportunities
players.
there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
100%.
no doubt about it. Like players, but look, I don't think players are built like they used to be years ago either.
Yeah, we spoke about that a good few times, haven't we now? And it really has. And when it's good then sitting with different personalities and
And it
Yeah.
keeps
all kind of our era
But it's,
of football, and it does always come up, and it definitely has.
but it's like there's no screaming. Like you just had Dermot Keeley coming in screaming, shouting at players and lifting
Yeah.
players out. If that was nowadays, the chap be bleeding sacked
Oh yeah,
for bullying charge or whatever. Because that's why it should be. That's
Or
why
the
it
young
should be. but-
fellas wouldn't come back.
Yeah, but like
you're not gonna get the reaction you want.
exactly.
Like
Yeah, you gonna have to manage them a bit better and arm around the shoulder. But years ago, you didn't get that. Like,
No, you're talking to players now, I think, and look, you have to be more than a manager now. Like when you're involved in man,
Definitely, yeah.
like you gotta, like it's got to the stage now where I think you need to know what's not. I'm not saying know someone's personal life, but
You need
gotta
to know what's going on
exactly
a little bit. Yeah,
because
yeah,
every
agreed.
player is different, and you got to know who you need to throw an arm around, who you need to pull to the side and say, look, everything okay, blah, blah. Because as we know, the way football's gone with, and life's got mental health and everything, there's so many issues that players struggle
It's a
with.
full time
behind it.
job now,
Without a
isn't
doubt.
it? Like with the management,
Without a doubt,
100%.
and you're certainly you're in a position where you're thinking, right, is he all right there? Like, is he, like, do you know what I mean? And like, kind of, how can I help him?
Yeah,
you bring
know
that
what I mean?
home with it as well. It's not only on the football pitch. You be probably
Yeah.
thinking about when you go home. Geez, I might drop him a text. Is he alright? And then he probably touch on a couple.
I'm
of
sure
other
you're
things
on the
there.
phone every minute of the day.
Of course,
When
yeah.
it
Look,
comes
you're
to
on the
football.
players, and it's like we've all played. The thing about being a manager now is we've played football and we've all been on a bench. And
We've all gone through
We've
it.
all gone through it, and we've all not played. And when you're not playing, you're like a pig.
Yeah.
No matter who you are, every player, we've all gone through it. You're absolutely steaming, and putting something on top of that where someone could be struggling at home, or they could be, you don't know what's going on in their, personal life. I know people turn around and say, well, how can you tell her? But sometimes you can see people's body language and you can see that they're, you know what I mean? And that's a part of the game where managers now are having to adapt to. You know what I mean? And not only at, I'm on about at the top level. You can see it
from the top to the bottom.
Yeah, you see 100%. The amount of professionals that's in top clubs in the Premier League now. They've got a person to deal with that. You need someone to talk
Sancho
to.
as well,
step into the office there. Do you know what I mean? Whereas it's something that wasn't talked about when we were playing.
When we were there, yeah.
You know?
And is it in Monaghan, because I feel, well, maybe it's because we played in that, but it felt like to me that's when football was the best time. Do you know what I mean? And now, even though I'm still playing now, and I'm starting to see a little bit, it has changed, but back then, that was the best time for me at football. Great times, and it definitely has changed. Yeah, 100%.
Okay, you're never gonna get the times. I think that people will say, younger lads might say, you all say that.
Stop talking about it.
You sound like your era was this, your era was that. They don't make them like you anymore. But that's the truth of it. It is. Yeah. You know what I mean? So,
Roy, what a roller coaster of a career, Tommy. Yeah. Brilliant, pal. Brilliant. Some great stories at the Rod Squad. So we go into a few questions, pal, right? Yeah. Just a few quick fires if we can. I know I know I gave you
catch me on the hop.
Yeah, heads up on a best 11, but we'll start off with any regrets.
Any regrets? That's a good question. Any regrets? Well, catch me here now on the spot. Not really, to be honest with you. When I think
doesn't sound like you have any.
When I think back to.
You've done enough around football, you've tested all waters. Yes, you've done the Australia, you've done the League of Ireland, you've done the Bluebell, you've done the Crumlin.
Yeah, I chanced England.
England as well, apologise.
I don't.
And you've won everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, in intermediate.
I don't think there's anything that I don't think there was any opportunity that I passed up. Do you know what I mean?
I don't think you took them all.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything I'd say to you now. Do you know what, Alan? If I had went there, what could have been? I think I did all that.
Other than the England ones, I think every decision you made was your decision. It wasn't like people like saying like, come here and trying to hassle you. You was like, I'm going here to Australia, I'm going back from Australia. So every decision you made was yours. So obviously you have no regrets there.
No.
So we go best player you play with.
Oh, best player I play with.
We give you two because you've been around.
Very good. I'd say Martin Kramer is definitely one of them, and probably like the other player that probably blew me off my feet playing with him and watching him. And I didn't play with him for too long, but when I did play him was probably Keith Fatty.
Yeah, really, did he?
He was a player like very not in a cocky way. Very few players I was in awe of that I thought you know like. He's good or whatever. Like, he played with obviously some brilliant players, but he was like.
How long did he last with Bluebell? Which is
I'm not sure. I can't actually remember. I think he played in the he played in the FAI Cup when we played Cabinteely. He got sent off. Then we played Rovers. Then we played a couple of league games. Definitely played like a good few games in the league and that.
And then he went. He was disappeared. Did he?
He went in coaching. I think he did, but he could do anything with a bleeding football.
He finished a bit early as well, didn't he? Professionally,
I think he got injured with his knees or something like that. But then he came back. Obviously, when he came to us, on it like some coop getting him in for us. But he was probably the one player I was in awe of. I think you felt like, geez, this fella, like that's a Premiership footballer. Yeah, you know when you look like that quality
levels ahead,
collider with the ball,
just in control,
backspin on passes. Yeah. I think he said, "Well, young lad, can't you really do that snooker?" But yeah, him and Martin, I'd say.
Best manager.
Oh, best manager. I'd say Martin. Yeah. I'd say Martin.
So we'll jump straight into. This is gonna be a good one now. Our best club.
Oh my God! You put me on the spot here.
I was going to ask you through the podcast. I was going to say which one would you gravitate to, but I said I'll wait.
Look, I think
that's the nervous laugh.
I thought I made a good decision when I went to both clubs. Now I'm getting put right on the spot. The best club. Look, I'd say I'm a Crumlin man. You know what I mean? I'm from Crumlin and. Like that's where I brought up, so I'd have to say Crumlin, yeah.
Best friend in football.
best friend in football would be Larko.
Yeah,
Sounds like it's what's a good 25 years going, is it? Probably more.
Yeah.
I can't believe he's went to Australia and everything
Yeah,
to get up there.
yeah.
So, hardest player you played against?
Oh, hardest player I've played against. I'd say there was a centre half off Avondale Ball. He had a fella that was in the army.
That's right, yeah.
Excellent
International.
player. Yeah, excellent.
Can't think of his name.
Can't think
Sure,
of-
someone give in the comments, obviously on Twitter or something, probably give you his name there.
He was a tough. Like a few battles with him when we played in the intermediate, but he was a tough player. Very good player. He was definitely one. Who else? Anyone else jumping after me now? I can't really think now, to be honest. Yeah.
Few ding dongs off anyone when you were with Bluebell after being with Crumlin. Or
Look at I had a few right few
nice
ding.
ding-dongs.
Jamesy, right few ding dongs with
Jamesy,
Jamesy.
tough
Yeah,
fucker, yeah.
me and Jamesy had verbals, fucking you name it, on the pitches with each other, like proper ding dongs. Yeah, we would have. Me and him, yeah, we would have went toe to toe right few
and
times.
you would have kind of got each other at similar ages as well, and like Bluebell at their pump, Crumlin at their pump, both is clashing against each other, played
and
against
the boat
each other.
was sort of, we would have been trying to, obviously, I was at the leaving, he was there, he was skipper, and
Bit of history.
Yeah, it was good. There was good history. I think it was good. It was good battles we had, I suppose.
Your favourite memory?
Favourite memory in football, I'd say probably when I look back on it, my favourite memory was winning the first intermediate.
Yeah.
Back there, like, scoring and tally.
Man of the match.
Just, from a personal point of view, and it's sort of, trying to make it, announce yourself that you can do it at that level and everything, like, that season. Yeah, I'd say that's probably it.
I think first few people said that the first FEI junior and intermediate has been their
First big
favourite.
one.
Yeah, first big ones.
But the mad thing is, I think if you'd have asked me that years ago, I would never have said that.
Yeah.
But I just think when you look back on
the
it,
value of
that breakthrough, you know what I mean, of winning something, and you value an awful lot more
and
now.
it probably kicked you off.
Yeah,
kicked
you on,
better
yeah.
things then as well.
This might take me a while because
You see your struggles on this.
players that didn't fulfil their potential. Oh, there you go.
Oh, two players straight away are very similar that didn't fulfil their potential. Three, actually. Robert Douglas, who we just spoke about.
I think you knew
absolutely
him, yeah.
Like, top draw player, never fulfilled his potential. He could have, sky was the limit for him, like literally had it all. Jordan Keegan, didn't really actually talk about Jordan probably enough. He was
winger off Bluebell.
He was at Southampton. What a player, could do anything with a football, like he was like so good. He was at Monaghan with us as well, but absolutely top draw player, just didn't get near to fulfilling his potential, in my opinion. And now he did a few years with us, but like, you go and watch this fella sometimes and you would have thought, like Duggo, you'd have thought, Jesus, how's he playing down here? Like, I mean, the famous shout from Roddy Collins was, I remember we played Sheriff in the FAI Cup, the top Sheriff team. We drew them in the Cup, and Roddy comes up on the sideline, he says, he was managing that loan. He said, I couldn't afford this fucking bench. he says, he's going, boys, we're all playing out there, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That, like, it was just crazy, like, with the players. But Jordan would have been on that bench there at the time, but because most of the lads that came from Monaghan,
Yeah.
But he was serious footballer, Jordan. And the other one that didn't fulfil his potential and since grew up with him as a kid would have been Jock Kelly.
Right.
You probably wouldn't
Yeah,
know
yeah,
him,
I
but
know Jock, yeah.
he was
Heard him, yeah.
Went to
again,
Liverpool.
Went to Liverpool, phenomenal player, and again didn't get near. Like, he played with Bowes, walked away from Bowes when he was under Nutsy winning
I
leagues.
suppose one of the biggest thing coming out of Ireland at that time.
Well,
when you were
anyone who anytime I heard his name say, I didn't know him personally, knew of him, but everybody who said it to him said he was the best.
Alan, like,
schoolboy they've ever seen, and best player.
We grew up as kids all playing together, like, but he was an exceptional player, like, and for whatever reason, just like he went and he's won the FAI, or won the League of Ireland that with Bowes and an FAI Cup, I think.
So it's not like he didn't, like, I'm not saying fulfill his potential, but could it? You said England, like, Premier League boys and Championship boys.
He went to Blackpool, and Danny Simpson, I think, is the manager at the time, and I think it's Simpson. I don't think it was his name. Danny something anyway. and he's in the hotel. Do you want to sign him? And he says, yeah, I'll be up to you in the morning. He's on trial. So Jock's obviously a friend of mine, but sure he won't mind me saying. And he's like, yeah, no bother, Danny. He said, I'll be here. He's after doing like 2 days training. What's the story? How are you getting on? Fuck that. He said, I'm at the leg, and he said, I'm on a plane. Danny's up knocking at the bleeding hotel door looking for him. This is in his 20s. This is in his 20s, because Carl Robinson, who was the manager of, I don't know who he's managing now, but he obviously managed MK Dons in Oxford.
Yeah,
he
Charlton as well, I think.
Yeah, Charlton as well. He was in the youths, and he was like trying to get him over all the time as well, but just, as I said, for whatever reason, just didn't fulfill his potential. Well, no, he didn't play on. If he had played, he could have done what he wanted.
Could have kicked on, yeah.
He was player of the tournament, I think, over in the 15s or the 16s tournament with Ireland, with like when Fabregas and all was playing,
Right.
like that.
The European Championships.
Yeah, like had it all.
So we'll
into the best 11 now, T.
Oh, best 11.
if we go formation first, and then you can walk from there.
Yeah, best 3. I'll go with 3-5-2.
Everyone seems to be going with that, or else the diamond.
Just make sure you get the 11 out on the pitch there. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure to pack out the upper end of the pitch as much as I can. But lucky enough to play with so many good players. You know, it's you could name a couple of teams. I'm sure everyone says the same thing. Like, do you know what I mean? And players will miss out. But goalkeeper, I'd say, for me, and again, another player that probably had many a spats with, like, you know, as a teammate, for the right reasons, obviously trying to win games. But I'd say Andy McNulty. He was
great keeper.
Yeah, very, very good goal. Another fella that could have, for me, you know, definitely played, had a good career. Now I know he played with Boas, but he could have played in the League of Ireland, you know, with a blindfold if he acquitted himself right. I'm sure he won't mind me saying he was, you know, didn't look after himself on the diet side enough. But yeah, very, very, very
really
good goalkeeper.
Really good, yeah.
Very good goalkeeper. Like, does obviously, you know, you Maynard and him, they would have been the 2 goalkeepers, but I would have played with Andy Mac more than I would have of Maynard.
Yeah, I always thought he was a good keeper. Yeah. I thought I was playing just a quick little before we move on with Tolka one day. I think we actually beat you one night down there when no one Chandler took goal, and it was a big game. But I think it was 1-0 to you. You might went up, but we ended up beating you. But I heard a free kick where it was something that you'd cross. But I said to myself, I'm hitting this. Andy McNulty was on the opposite side. It was probably about 30 odd yards out, and I don't think I ever hit a free kick as best of my life. And as soon as it left me foot, I says, this is in top corner. And he came out of nowhere and literally stuck it out of the top corner and just flicked it over the corner. And I was saying to myself, how did he get to that?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah. But it was the same, the Charlie Cattle Cup final. I actually watched it between Crumlin and Bluebell. Him and Maynard are 2 best players on the pitch. Maynard got man of the match because they won, but if Bluebell had won, Andy would have got man of the match.
Maynard actually scored the penalty to win it.
The 2 of them made unbelievable saves in the game. But Andy Mac, have to say.
Did you not play that game, did you?
No, I was injured. Yeah.
So moving on there, Rifle. Oh well, back
three. Derek Griffin, as one of the 3. Like I said, I couldn't really just a proper old school centre half / right full, whatever you want to put him. Could do anything, like just proper, put his head on anything. I tell you what, you wouldn't mind finding one of them now.
Yeah, rare breed.
Yeah, he was a rare breed. Like he's I couldn't. He's up there with probably the best. You know, one of the best Jimmy centre halves that I've seen / right forwards. He could play anywhere, but he had what every defender should have, in my opinion. Do you know what I mean? Like, he could play, he'd go and attack a ball. Like, Jesus, he wasn't even that big, but he just, do you know, one of them fellas that just won every header? You would know Griffo, wouldn't you?
I'm not too sure.
Would you not remember him now?
No, I remember him. Yeah. I think I would have played again. I think I played against him once or twice, but when I was kind of only forced in Leinster Senior League.
Yeah, but he was an exceptional centre half. Yeah, very, very good. So him as one. Willow McDonough, another. Again, you know, another player that was quite similar to sort of Griffo. You know, put his head on anything. You know, great tackler, good reader of the game. Just, you know what I mean? Like, just an out and out defender. Do you know what I mean? Something, again, like I said to you, I think we get hung up now on defenders that have to play football. You know what I mean? Got to play out from the back and all. Give me an old school defender any day of the week.
You'd play in your team every week.
100%.
The transfer season's open in December, so I'll leave it on, alright?
So I've seen you eating a few cakes today.
You want to see what you didn't see me eating.
But Willow, McDonough, and beside him, I'd go for Dean Lawrence, who was another player that I played with at Bluebell.
Played with Uncle Kildare as well,
he was a great centre half.
Played was,
like, again, could have played at a higher level, but I'm sure, as I said, a few people might be giving me a few texts later on, or when this gets aired. Didn't apply himself in the best way possible. That if he did
to fulfill it,
smashing player was
smashing player again. That went under the radar. That a lot of people, I'd say, wouldn't have known of it. Like, of course, you would have seen him playing with Bluebell, but wouldn't have known his potential like yourself, and you'd have played with him or whatever. You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, he was he would have been one. And look, I was lucky enough to play with this unbelievable defenders. Like, probably, I think, the best defenders that probably ever played in that league. But he certainly was up there. Like, but as I said to you, you know, you could easily have put 4 or 5 other lads in there. Which, you know. So
what shape are you going for in the midfield here?
We go with 3 and 2 out wide, and then we go two down the middle. You go with Martin Kramer in the that 6 role. Again, what more can you say about Martin that hasn't already been said? You know, I think he's probably sick of listening to people talking about him at this stage.
Like, by the sounds of Martin Kramer was probably one of the best, probably if not the best, that touched ends I've seen. Yeah,
he was. Yeah, look, he had it all, Martin. Do you know what I mean? And again, playing with him it was a pleasure to play with him, because he just made things easy for you, as much as, you know, yourself, you making it easy for them as well. But he just telepathic. He had it. He just knew what he was doing all the time when he got the ball. And for the size of him as well.
Yeah,
small. Just a small fella. You know what I mean? Like, he just dictated games on his own, and you know, it's not
he dictated them by playing football, didn't he?
Yeah.
Not dictating by like grabbing the team with his scuff and
charging forward.
Well, I actually nicknamed Martin Kramer the Jack Russell for a reason, because I tell you, when he hadn't got the ball, the man would chomp on the bit. He wasn't a player that was afraid to get stuck in.
Yeah,
he had the little nasty streak to him as well. I don't think he liked that name, but he had to get that in case he hears it. But Martin was he was an exceptional player. So he'd be in the 6. In the 8, let me see. I'm just trying to rack my brain here. In the 8, I would say Keith Fatty, because even though I didn't play with him for that long, he was just
seen his quality.
Just such a good player. Like, do you know what I mean? Like I said, you can't, like, you're looking at a player, like I said, you're in like awe of a player, like when you're seeing how good he is. That's what he was. He was just so good.
That was like when Sheriff played with us.
After,
just touch the ball, just fucking effortless for him, isn't it?
Oh, like, just as I said, Rolls Royce, Rolls Royce stuff, like, just so good, and you know, just didn't even look like looked like playing out the back garden.
Yeah,
always did, like, loads of time on the ball, and you know, seeing that pass 5 seconds before someone else did. And as I said, when Rem with the ball, like, you're thinking, just didn't think he was that quick. Going by someone like that standing still. So he was exceptional player.
Him in the 8.
2
8s.
Yeah, 2 8s. And probably the other one would be, just look, because again, like, I thought he was, you know, a player for me that was underrated, and you know, probably players did the same as him, but Gar Cooney was, I'd have to have him in my team. He was a player that just fucking turned up all the time and scored goals. Like, he was, and again, he did it, you know, we went to Mocktus, done it, he did it at, you know, Bluebell, Phoenix. But again, it's such an underrated player for me.
I think of anyone who played with him properly, and realise his potential.
But I think you'd have to Alan have played with him.
Yeah, to realise,
to know, you know, how good of a player he was. And again, that's for me. And look, in that 3, I could put another 9 players in there. You know what I mean? Like, we played with, like, so many good players, like even Bocker there missing out, Quinny, you know, players that
respectful shouts you can give them.
they're just like serious players, but they would be, you know, the three that I'd put in there. Yeah, we're moving out wide now, are we?
Left and right, here we go.
Left and
He's
right.
getting confused.
Yeah, I'm trying to think here now.
He's biding time, isn't he?
Yeah. Right, I'd have to go for me good mate Larko. Again, I think a player that probably, you know, didn't get the plaudits as well that you deserved. I think like Larko's probably the most decorated player in amateur football. He's won everything
in the junior game as well.
Both ends. Yeah, I think he's the only player that's won everything, junior and intermediate.
Seriously, yeah.
Yeah, the only player that's won it. And for me, again, like I said to you, you know,
it's not a fluke.
No,
it's not a bench warmer either. You know, it's a player.
You don't win medals and you don't win trophies if you're not doing the business, because you don't get into them teams.
No,
you know, you don't hang around.
No, definitely not.
It's not. People just like, they won't tolerate you. You know, it's as simple as that. Like, you know, in them dressing rooms. So yeah, for me, the
big man gets the show.
The big man gets in. The big man.
Even
Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to turn up
on Australia.
Yeah, left me over there eating bleeding pot noodles.
You're getting knocked on your top window later on there. From
the attic window.
What's the story here, bro?
Oh yeah, but
so Larko on the right.
The left wing. Oh, he's had me here now. I was just thinking about it. Left wing. Who was I saying? Left wing. Oh,
I only gave you 2 hours for this, in fairness.
Yeah, you didn't give me a lot of time, Alan. To everyone else, I think got 2 days. You've stitched me here. The north side to the south side thing, is it?
Yeah, holding the way back over there, right?
The next canker over there quick enough.
Yeah, I'm trying to think now. Rack me brain. Who was thinking left wing? He says you obviously weren't that good if you can't remember them. But let me see. Left wing, mine's gone blank, lads. Let me see. Can I cheat a little bit now?
Yeah, of course you can. Get into your phone book.
I think I have
my number there, don't you?
Let me cheat there for 1 second. Let me see. Put me on the spot here.
Do you know what? At least you didn't take a paper and pen out like Davey Lacey did last week. and we're actually leaving the sound effects in. We are, yeah.
Yeah. Do you know who it was? Gar Brady.
Gareth.
Yeah. Gar Brady.
Right.
Again, top player, like all the ability in the world. You know, like a player that sort of can do anything really, couldn't he? Like, you know what I mean? Score goals, create goals, you know. Right foot, left foot, come in on either side.
I love him at left full. I don't think
and he
anybody
hated
gets
it.
near him. And
Remember
he
you say to me, I hate playing there. I was like, guy, you're You don't want to play there.
Well, here, best player on the pitch, left full, nearly every game he'd be. And he'd be like, I want to play.
Hate it. Don't want to play in the middle of the park. And I'm like, you're getting all the ball there. He's like, don't care, hate it. But yeah, had it, like, you know what I mean, on toast, didn't he? Really, like, did everything.
Easy.
It was easy for him. Again, another player that should have probably played at a higher level, you know.
Agree,
and for whatever reason didn't. Then we move up front. Dean Kelly has to, you know, get into my team. I think he's, look, when he was firing on all cylinders, he's still even doing it now. You know what I mean? He was,
still scoring.
Still scoring goals. Goal machine.
He was unstoppable.
Yeah, he
year,
was.
Wasn't he?
He was.
Played
but he kept going, didn't he? He went on and done it in the League of Ireland then. You know,
he scored a winner for the league for Rovers, didn't he?
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
you know, he didn't just, you know, do it for one season. Like, even I think people forget, even before he went to Crumlin United, he was ripping it up, you know, under his brother Jay. Yeah. So yeah, for me, Dean, he's in. I think he get in any team really. And beside Dean, I'd go with Stritchy. Yeah, I think again another lad that probably, you know, with Bluebell, he spent so many years there, but as a lone striker, he was just when he was in his pomp, like
he could do it on his own. He
just
could do it
raw,
up there.
brute power. Technically, probably not as good as Dean or whatever, but
he could play as well. Though,
but he do the dirty side of the game more, like, and he was a goal scorer. You know what I mean? Score goals. Seriously, like that's what he was about. Like, but again, strikers, I could rack off a lot of strikers. I'm sure there'd be a few people unhappy, like, you know, but you know, like, we had some serious strikers there at Crumlin and Bluebell, like,
you know, I was actually only with Jake today. I'd say he'd be like a pig. Put me in my team. You give an out, but yeah, there's a few others, but like, you know,
Smashing 11, starting 11, yeah.
yeah,
So really good.
yeah.
That's
That's
it. You're
it.
gonna
Tony.
get a few texts, Tony, after this is
Yeah.
released. Definitely.
I'd say the old phone's hopping already.
I hope Roddy Collins rings you first.
The Rod Squad, bring it back. That's what we say.
Hey, thanks very much.
Thanks, Rod. Yeah, perfect, yeah.
Brilliant.
Nice to
Thank
have
you,
you.
Pat.
Legend.